around the country. Now, we are awaiting autopsy results from Bob Saget's death investigation. The cast of Full House has been reuniting to remember America's dad.
All right, stand by.
John Stamos sharing his grief publicly, writing this morning, "I'm not ready to accept that he's gone. I'm not going to say goodbye yet. I'm going to imagine him out there still on the road doing what he loves with all his heart and humor." On Monday, Stamos and the rest of the Full House cast shared a joint statement mourning Saget, saying they came together as a TV family and now they are embracing each other, holding each other
On cam.
as a family during this very difficult time. Joining us right now, Tom Van and Dan Dennis. They interviewed Saget on their podcast, A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. Is that how you say your podcast title?
It is,
Yes.
yeah. A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan, where we started as a podcast and actually went backwards to radio. So.
Okay. You went backwards. Well, congratulations on all of your success. I know Bob was on your show promoting his tour, right?
Yeah, he gave us a call. He was going to be at Hard Rock Live, and we were talking to him just like we always do if he comes into town. And he was always great when we talked to him, and he sounded good, and he was telling us about his podcast and everything he was doing.
Yeah,
and
he comes in real hot, and I guess the saddest part is the amount of excitement he had about all of his new stuff, new material he was writing, new projects, new movies. I mean, he had an endless list of things that he was telling us about off and on the air.
Yeah, and he mentioned COVID during his appearance, but it was a joke. Let's actually listen to this clip from your podcast.
I don't know if I had Delta or I might have had a combo. Maybe at one point they were working together. I don't know. I think at one point Omicron was opening for Delta, but then Omicron got so big, Delta's opening now.
Yeah, they switched. You're right. They switched the lineup because it wasn't landing well with the audience. He's exactly right.
No, bigger rooms, they said. We want to play bigger rooms.
I mean, it's easy to laugh about that. A lot of people can relate to that humor. But did it seem like anything was wrong? Did it seem like he was not well in any capacity on the radio?
No, not at all. In fact, I mean, when we were talking about that, we were talking about COVID, and me and Daniel have both had COVID over Christmas, and when we're in Florida, everybody's got COVID here, and so then Bob was talking about how he had dealt with it as well too.
Yeah. We assumed that he had dealt with it at a later date. We didn't know when.
Yeah, and then and then we've had listeners tell us that they went to his show and he seemed perfectly fine, and the show was great, and it was Bob doing what Bob does, and so we were shocked to hear what happened, and our hearts go out to his family, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that, even for us who don't know him super personally, but maybe met him along the way in our entertainment career, as I did and as you guys did, it's kind of surreal. You're just like, this can't be true. Like, he can't be gone. Just having been so much a part of our culture, pop culture. Is there something specific that you both will remember him for?
I think I'll just remember him as maybe an inspiration on how I should be. I mean, I'm in a lower level aspect of entertainment. Maybe I should be a little bit more like Bob, like always kind to people, always genuine, always trying to help. I know he had helped Pete Davidson maybe with some mental deals. I mean, he was always trying to help. I think if we can all do that, then yeah, we'll be doing it right.
Yeah, so genuine and down to earth, and like we were talking to him about, always had new projects, always busy, loved doing work, loved entertainment, and that's what we loved about Bob Saget, and we'll remember him by.
I love that. I love that sentiment, and I think it's something that we constantly need to be reminded of. Just keep a focus on the positive and keep a focus on others. Thank you both, Tom Van, Dan Dennis. Thanks for being with us on Morning in America.
Thank you.
Increasing down at Port Canaveral on our Lodge Credit Union Cam. A good stiff.
Good morning. This is audio. Can I get a mic check?
Yes,
sure.
We're here.
1, 2,
I do not have
3.
any audio coming from either one of you. Can you make sure you're not muted?
Let's try again.
So
1,
now we allow
2,
some
3, 4.
modification to the local air mass.
All right, I'm starting to hear stuff. Let me adjust.
Again,
Okay.
trending much nicer
1,
than just
2,
yesterday.
All right,
3.
mic check from the one on the screen left.
Time lapse it caught for you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Got you. Gentleman on the screen right.
1,
Here it comes.
2, 3,
Bam. There it
4,
is. Boy,
5.
All right, can I have you talk louder for me when you talk, just because you're kind of soft?
You got
Yeah,
it.
no problem.
Storms at
Excellent. The one on the left was good. Thank you.
Wind gusts in excess of 55, 56 miles per hour. The heavy rain, the cloud, the ground lightning, and the hail.
Hey, Tom and Dan, it's Maria from Fox 35. Can you hear me?
How you doing? Yes.
Anything can happen. And
We are going to take you live after this weather report.
Okay.
We'll be talking to Amy Caulfield.
Okay, great.
Near 60 now as you get out to the Space Coast. Winds are on the rise right now. You can clearly see the numbers coming in a little higher than just a little earlier this morning. And as we look at our future winds here, this is a forecast model that shows us where the winds are going to go later today, and that is streaming at all locations out of the north and east. Still east some on Wednesday, and then we talk about them coming down a little bit more and then rising up again with the approach of a surface front. That's my concern for the launch. It's our Falcon 9 rocket launch. SpaceX at it again down at the Cape. As we get to Thursday morning at 10:25 a.m., might there be clouds around? Might there be some gusty ocean breezes? It's possible because we'll be on the backside of front number 2. So it's a series of fronts systems working through the region. We've got some 60s for highs today, most spots. At 12 o'clock today, 65 at Winter Park with that north-northeast breeze at 10 to 20 miles per hour. So local breezes there. And also out at the Villages today, we'll see some breezes pulsing up through the afternoon. Plentiful sunshine, though, out there at the Marion border there, where the counties come together. At the Villages, a high today at 65. For tonight, down we go. Not too far, though. We'll still see some 40s flashing over the northwestern counties. Widespread 50s as you work south and east of that. I want to tell you about our future weather pattern here. Third week of January looking a little stormier, a little cooler overall as we see the jet stream, that northern storm track dipping south. And I talk about a conveyor belt of storms, or kind of almost a highway or roadway to bring these storms more down to the south into our neck of the woods. That kind of pattern looks to be coming to fruition as we look longer term, talking future weather. Much colder behind that departing system, a lot wetter behind it or in advance of it. You can see there the rain chances start to move on up late Saturday and the early Sunday morning. Should blow through quickly, but there's a lot of things that we're unsure of just yet as the information is just coming in the Fox 35 Storm Center. Stay with us and make us your weather trackers. Of course, if you've yet to do so, we got your back through thick and thin, and download that Fox 35 Storm Team weather app for the very latest. 8:50 time now for our weather baby of the morn. Fox 35 weather baby Ryan looking good, sporting that Quicksilver hat. That'll keep the sun off you at the beach for sure there. Good looking kiddo there, Mom and Dad. Thanks. Fox35Orlando.com for more on our weather baby segment. Let's talk about the roadways now, shall we? We shall. Skyfox Traffic Live. Last check of traffic, and you can see our drive times now have fallen under 20 minutes in both directions on I-4, both eastbound and.
Stand by Tom and Dan.
Over to you now.
Thank you, Jamie. The entertainment world is still mourning the loss of one of America's original TV dads. Bob Saget passed away in a hotel room in Orlando on Sunday, shortly after he performed at the Hard Rock. And joining us this morning to talk more about it are Tom Ban and Daniel Dennis, hosts of the radio show Tom and Dan. First of all, great to see you guys. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Oh, our pleasure. Great to see you. Obviously, we wish it were under more fun type of instances.
Yeah. I mean, it's so sad, Daniel. And I'll start with you. When you first found out on Sunday, what was your reaction?
I was with the wife. We were just talking about it. I mean, very much like pivotal losses, even like a Kurt Cobain, I would say. You know, like very, very important to me, and right up my alley as far as a generation goes. You know, America's Funniest Home Videos, Full House. I mean, one of those two shows got you, right? Like, I think I can speak for my entire generation. One of those two got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tom, I mean, I think the other thing that for you guys made this extremely difficult is that you had just spoken to Bob Saget and had just had conversations with him. And so that just makes it even more of a gut punch, I would think.
Yeah, it was because when we were talking to him about all his new projects, his podcast that he was doing, of course, he was always on tour and he was so energetic. And I mean, we were always impressed about how busy Bob was always, doing new things. And so we were, completely shocked when we heard, and obviously our hearts go out to his family, and we were super sad because we had just spoken to him, and our listeners went to his show, and he had a great show, and everybody said that he was energetic on stage, and that he looked great. So that was even more shocking to us.
Well, Dan, and I think too, he was really 65, yes, but he was still in the prime of his life. He was talking on his social media about how, he was kind of back to those original comedic roots of doing stand-up. And I was looking at his tour schedule. It was impressive, right? He was just going from show to show to show. Obviously, he seemed like he was pretty healthy.
Yeah, and I think everybody wants to try to answer that question right now, and unfortunately, we can't, because I think he just did if you just look at what he did, he crushed it with 2 major shows in Florida, and the whole thing's just super sad. And I think when these type of things happen, and when it's not clear cut, I think everybody gets a little extra sad, because you're like, oh, I want an answer,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't think we have one. I think maybe this could have been it just happened.
Yeah, just a fluke. His legacy, I think, is one that we'll be looking at for a while. And I think the one thing that we've heard over and over again, and you guys can probably attest to this, is just what a truly nice guy he was. Just very down to earth and real and genuine.
And would help anybody.
Yeah.
He helped us. He kept up with us. Other shows in town that he was, very good friends with. He just seemed like he was running his entertainment career the way you should, right?
Yeah, and I was just talking to him when we were interviewing him. I was saying that to be so famous and so approachable, because that's how Bob Saget was, and the fact that, he would talk to anybody. He was such a nice person. And I was like, man, that must be hard to be so famous and so approachable. You must get bothered all the time. And he took a positive route, and he was like, nope, I love talking to people.
That's his thing.
And I love the people that consume my entertainment, and that's how he was. He's just such a nice person.
We can all take a lesson from that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen, you guys. Tom and Dan, we love you guys so much.
Love
Check
you
out
too.
their website, tomanddan.com. You guys are the best. You are Orlando legends in and of yourselves. So we
you're
always
too
appreciate
sweet.
you guys taking the time to be with us.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, you guys. Take care. Coming up on Good Day Orlando.
Thanks, Tom and Dan. Have a good day.
Thank
too,
you, you
guys.
too.
Take
How
care.
lengthy-
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
Let's do some weird jobs.
All right, buddy. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Streamline Florida, Streamline Mortgage Solutions. They wanted to remind everybody that it seems like mortgage rates may be changing, so they're still at an all-time low. Just give them a call, act now if you want to
get it while
refi.
it's low.
Yeah, don't. I wouldn't procrastinate on this one. You're already sort of late to the party. You know? This has been this way for a minute, but Streamline would be the best place to start. Brian and his team. I've used them, I think, 3 times now, which is a lot. That's a lot.
And just give them a call. They'll tell you for free whether it's a good idea, and they'll let you know, like, all right, this is the percentage rate. Maybe you can get your, mortgage insurance off, or get your loan down, take equity out, whatever it is. They'll tell you. It doesn't cost you anything just to find out. Do the best business decision for your family. Streamline Florida. All right. So we've got Danielle on the line. How you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Now, should we tell everybody who you are?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's cool.
Okay, she said it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
You are the way better half of EJ. You're EJ's wife, and I
kind of want to just interview you about living with EJ.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous, right? It's like we talk to EJ all the time. I'm not nervous at all, but then when we get like her on the phone, I'm like, now we got the big boss on the line. It's like it's very intimidating.
Now, before we interview you about your weird job, let's talk EJ. How often does he tell you stories about UM and
glory days to the source?
Yeah, because
oh my God, it's got to be like a daily occurrence. But I was there, so.
Then why do you need to hear about it?
Yeah, you should say that. You should say, yeah, I was there. Yeah,
daily.
I saw it all with my own eyes.
Yeah, because my wife is tired of hearing all my stories, and so I just stopped bringing them up.
Better than me. My wife hates all my stories and has never heard them.
So he does that a lot. Is it embarrassing when he wears the ring and the UM polo and wants?
The ring, yes. The ring, probably.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
But,
it is a little flashy.
I'm excited about it.
I like that you know what, you're just a good person. The fact that you're like, I dislike it, but he's excited about it.
That's his thing.
So man, that's good. That's a good wife, man. You know, hats off to you. That's awesome. I'll never know what it's like to have somebody be that supportive of your dumb ring.
Do you yell at him for playing too much Pokemon and all that?
The baby game.
Because
Yes. I told him not to start it, and he did it anyway.
Oh my God, he's cheating on you with Pikachu. You told him not to even dip his toe into the water, and here he is. What is he now, level 50?
I have no idea.
I'm glad that you have no concept of this. My God. Hold it a second, Tom. You're EJ of your relationship. This sounds very similar. The only thing you don't have is a ring.
So let's talk about your job. What is your weird job?
My weird job is holiday services craft decorator.
Holiday services
yes.
Craft decorator?
Yes.
So what does that entail?
So I'm at Magic Kingdom and all the parks, but we're basically behind Magic Kingdom. And we just go in and we decorate, and then we take it all down.
Now, do you have now when they ask you to do this, because this is one of the most, like if you've been to the parks or you like the parks, one of the most amazing things that they can do is shift the look of the park on a dime, but it takes hundreds of people to be able to do that. Or I'm assuming you are one of those humans?
I am one of them, yes.
How many folks do you work with in your little team?
40.
That's not a little team.
So I'm curious to how
No, it's not little.
how organized it is. Like, does every single Christmas wreath have like this is pole 2,
like a number?
And exactly what pole you hang it on? Like,
Yes.
is it that organized?
Yeah, it's pretty organized. It's each wreath, garland, tree, they have tags on them, and on the tags it says what number they need to be on, where they're at. Yeah, it's pretty an organized place.
Do you have any idea of how many wreaths or trees you're putting up? Because I would imagine at some point you reach like 1,000 or something, right?
Yeah, it's like an Indiana Jones warehouse of Christmas decorations.
It's exactly how it is.
I think this is like a dream for a lot of people. Okay, out of all the jobs we've talked about, I knew that you did this. I'm excited to talk to you. But I know a lot of people, just regular humans, my friends, right? They will say to me that it is a dream of theirs to have this job. Like, this is very
and
high.
That's how it was, yeah.
Yeah, was that the same for you?
Yeah.
Did you want this job?
Yeah. Even when I worked at PhotoPass, you'd work one day and then the next day it'd be Christmas. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I always wanted to do it.
Yeah, it's cool. I think this is coveted,
Are like all the decorations they're not like they're not mass produced decorations, like they're all custom made,
Disney,
right?
Yeah.
Because you can't
A lot of custom made, yeah.
Yeah, so because like you imagine like some Christmas wreath, like the one that we hang on our door has like a bunch of bulbs on it, and then every year some glitter falls off or some bulb falls, and it hot glue it back on,
a little road dirt on it,
and then it's just like it's not made. I imagine the ones, all the decorations are made to be touched.
Oh, you mean
like
industrial
crazy?
streaks?
Yes, yeah. Are they all like crazy built to last as long as possible?
Hell no.
Oh, does it fall apart?
I can't even lie about that.
The mouse is cheaping out.
So I mean, like I'm sure through wear and tear they got to replace them. And
right.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, before we go out and do the parks, we have to sew wire into them, and then hot glue a lot of the wires on, so that when you pull on them, you can't pull them off. But we hot wire and glue everything.
So it's
You
all
can go and pull on them; they're not going to come off.
gotcha.
Okay, gotcha.
They're really on there.
I'm curious for the night they do the changeover, and what date is that again? Is like there's some sort of like, is it
The magical date
Yeah,
that you can guarantee Magic Kingdom is Halloween.
So after Halloween night, they change over to Christmas, and
That night, yep.
and so what's that ritual like? Like as soon as the last person's out of the park,
Yeah, walk us through your day.
Does your team rush in because you have how many
yeah.
hours?
We only had 6 hours that day because they had some early opening that day, and they had to get everybody out of the park by like 6:30, 7 o'clock. So we had to wait until like midnight, or even actually after midnight, and then we get like this call, like go, 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 and everybody starts running to where they have to go.
That's
really,
cool.
It's funny and not funny at the same time, but yeah.
I think the thing that people are underestimating, a lot of people are saying, like, why would you want to do this? But it's exciting. I think there's an excitement to being on the team. You have a
See
task.
if you can get it done in that time.
I mean, for a lot of crafters, and my daughter's a crafter, she just loves creating things. I could see her, like, thinking this is the most exciting thing in the world because you got this job to do and you got to pull it off in 6 hours.
And also, if
crazy.
It's almost the same psychology as say you decorate your house, but it's not for your kids. You decorate it just because you like it and you enjoy spreading Christmas cheer,
Sure,
right?
you just like the looks, the aesthetics.
If you're that type of person that enjoys spreading Christmas cheer, this is the way to do it to the most amount of people, right? Because how many people visit the parks?
Oh, yeah.
Like how many millions of people? So like if you're involved in decorating,
That's an important wreath, yes.
then you are spreading, by just statistics, the most Christmas cheer in front of the most eyeballs that is possible, right? I mean, there's no other way to get in front of that many people than Disney World, right?
No, that's it.
So what's weird
it's awesome.
why don't they start earlier? It seems like you could start way earlier than midnight, especially if parks close at 6. Like, why is there such a gap? Then you're hauling ass to do it so fast.
Well, okay, so they have to schedule them with the parks. Magic Kingdom can't go Christmas on Halloween, so they have to wait until Halloween. And then once it's Halloween, it has to go Christmas. And that's always usually the first park to do it.
So literally,
but they don't do them all the same day.
Since it's still Halloween Day, technically, October 31st, they have to wait until it's November 1st, midnight?
Yes, they have to wait.
What?
Till
That's just their rule, I feel like, yeah. I feel like because they
Well, they also have like
kind of absurd, right?
They have the Halloween party.
That's what I was going to say. The Halloween party that has Magic Kingdom stay open later.
Yeah.
So certain people have tickets to be there at night.
You've been to that, right?
So you have to wait till that ends, get every single person
Clean
out,
it up a
clean
little
it
bit.
up.
Yeah.
But that takes...
yeah.
It seems like...
People lollygag getting out of that.
Just think
it takes about an hour after park closed to get people out.
Oh, maybe even more.
Yeah, probably
I
even
think
more.
That night we were waiting for like one person to get out of the Emporium.
Oh my God, get
you're waiting
out of
for
there.
One guy is trying to get... One guy's in there, he can't
Get a
decide.
popcorn bucket, just get out.
And if you come out with a goofy hat on with those ears hanging down, I'm going to be mad.
But what's interesting, though, like, even if they didn't have that party, I feel like just because they're such traditionalists and because they're such a huge corporation that they'd still wait till 12:01
I like that.
November 1st.
I like that.
Before they put it...
would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, too, because
you could get a jump on it, but they're probably like, nope, it's still Halloween, technically.
Well, think about it.
Ridiculous.
Spreading it out and doing bits and pieces. Like, if I came to the Magic Kingdom, and let's just say they were a different company, right? Let's just say they didn't have this magic this Disney magic, right?
Yeah.
I show up. I'm still riding the rides. I go to the Laugh Factory deal. I see Sully and Mike. Making me
laugh floor.
Laugh floor, yeah. I do the little laugh floor thing, and I come back out and I see some people that are workers. And I see them gluing things and putting up Christmas. I don't know about that. I'm seeing it while I'm in the park. I don't know about that.
It ruins the illusion.
There is something amazing to the next time you come. Like maybe you were even just there, and then boom, they flip a switch, and it's Christmas, and you're like, holy crap!
Yeah.
How did this happen? I get it. I
Yeah,
support it. I know it's stupid and it's a lot of work, but that magic. The only way to create that magic is through humans because there is no real magic. So 6 hours of humans smushing themselves together to create it, I feel like that is real magic. Because it's just hard.
Has there ever been like a spider web or a pumpkin that got slipped through the cracks?
No,
and then
I'm sure.
I mean, there's probably
tons of spiders everywhere.
Well,
wait a minute. I hate spiders.
No, I mean
She
like
means real ones.
They make homes
Like a
Just
Halloween.
one piece of decor that didn't make it out in time.
Yeah. I'm talking about like a Halloween decoration that acts like the crew forgot, and then next morning.
No, they take those down as we put things up, so they're not going to get missed.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I see how they do it. They don't have one group of people bringing everything down.
We go in, we break down, we put things up.
Gotcha.
Oh, man,
all
that's
one
almost not. It's more efficient because your eyes are on what you're taking down and putting up. But man, that rattles me of how much longer I think it would perceivably take being takedown and put up. You see what I'm saying? Like to me, if I'm running, you
and
run
we
a
have all the cranes.
Oh
we got all
yeah.
the cranes in the,
How many cranes
where
are
the
you guys
tree is.
running?
There's three big cranes because they take the big tree over the buildings from the back.
Yeah, that's
Because
crazy.
they can't get the crane into Main Street, so they have to take it from the back and put it in.
That's
Kind of
amazing.
crazy to watch.
Has there ever been a time, maybe not when you've been there, but I'm sure you've talked to people there, that it didn't get finished? Like maybe there was some rainstorm, they had to delay, things like, and then they were still having.
We work in the rain.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
I think it's like a military.
It's getting done, buddy.
It's like a military order.
Yeah,
I feel like it's like you're get this
They're
done
too
or you'll
big,
die
yeah.
with a reason.
Rain or shine.
Yeah, and I support that too because that's the only way to make real magic, because there's no such thing, is you got to sacrifice, right? I think you got to work.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to really create it.
At Disney Springs, it rained all night
Oh.
when we did that.
Oh.
It was a 2-night thing, but it rained all night the second night. And then by 7 o'clock in the morning, we were leaving, and it was pouring. So, yeah.
I like that. They make it. You know
Going.
what I'm saying?
Of course
Like,
they are.
They're not gonna, it's like, well, this is a $1 billion corporation.
That's how you make magic.
Yeah. So I don't know if EJ told you, but we always ask about salaries at the end of these. I don't know.
Danielle.
Yeah. I blame EJ on this because he set you up for this.
It's true.
It's okay. They don't pay enough.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they're a $1 billion corporation. It's not like, but what is it, how's the pay?
Well, they pay the little elves hourly, which is me, but the big elves get better pay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are you holding out to hopefully be Big Elf, right? Like that's where we're going?
Yes, I'm hoping to get big elves, but we won't know.
I think you could do that.
I got one
I
last
hear
question.
Your dedication.
It seems like Disney employees stay with the company because there's an element of nostalgia that I think a lot of people, they love Disney. They've always wanted to work there.
There's a loyalty to it. Yeah, they like
I think so.
And so
I keep coming back.
So then, does it become like a teacher or a firefighter, or what? Like, there's people that have so much tenure and they don't leave that it's hard to actually get employed there. It's hard to move up because people stay for so long.
In certain areas, yeah.
Okay.
Like there's people that have been there for 25 years, 30 years.
Yeah, it seems like, because I think people enjoy it beyond just the job. They enjoy the culture of the Disney
One of my
world.
favorite humans is the guy and I know a lot of these guys that has been at Disney for 30 years, loves it and collects Disney stuff, and is just like the happiest person in the world.
Yeah.
I know a lot of those people.
Right. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I wish everybody could find that in their life, right? It's like the guy who loves Disney. He's worked there for 30 years. He collects the stuff. His house is basically a Disney house, and he's just the happiest person in the world.
Might be me or my husband at one point.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Might pick up a part-time Disney job.
Although I kind of want the job aspect of it to kill what they loved.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah. Too. I was just about to say, there's a lot of jaded ones there.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's where it feels.
But I don't think
heart.
they're completely jaded. Let's be honest. I think it's fun and it's human nature when you're around your friends and it's raining and you're taking down pumpkins to complain about it.
Of course.
But push comes to shove, I think you wouldn't be doing that if you didn't have your heart in it. Look, we can all choose to do what we want to do now more than ever, and you're seeing it. You're seeing people like, you know what? I don't want to drive this truck anymore. I'm going to be X. So do it, but or stop complaining as much.
Also, it's some people get confused with like, oh, I love Disney World, I love everything about it, whatever. And then when you work for them, that ain't the same.
No, especially if you have to deal with people.
Yeah. Like loving going and visiting Disney World and experiencing the parks and having that is not the same as working for $1 billion corporation that provides that for other people. And people get that confused,
Way
thinking
different.
that it's going to be, you're going to have the same feeling. It's like, oh no, this is working hard as hell for a giant corporation.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I believe that they would probably argue, the parks, I think, would argue that that's probably one of, if not the most important outside entity for the parks is being able to change its look in a night, right? Like, that is really important.
Right, yeah.
That is super
Yeah,
important to the park, the fact that they can flip that thing on a dime.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Well, hey, thank you for your time. You are so much more pleasant than your husband.
Yeah.
Wow, you're good.
I doubt that.
Can you go to Yahoo
Not
Sports
kidding.
and read a couple stories every Tuesday? That's all it needs to be. Yahoo Sports
Yeah.
and then some E-News.
Danielle, thanks for your time.
You want to plug
Yeah.
the MyCon?
Let's plug
Yeah,
the
yeah.
MyCon.
Oh yeah, MyCon's March 26th, so it's coming up.
Awesome. Congratulations on that, by the
And
way.
all your
because
Yeah, it's
success,
great.
your family and everything. Yeah, you know what's funny is that, truthfully, you started that out of nothing, and where are we at now? Is this going to be the fourth, fifth?
Fourth year, fifth event.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I knew I was pretty close to that because
Yeah.
I remember when you started and you're like, we're just going to throw this out there and see what happens. And look at you now. You got people asking me about it and how they can participate.
An event organization is hard as hell, so hats
And
off
she was
to
doing it during the pandemic, and they did it really well.
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
a lot of love for MyCon, and make sure you let us know so we can plug it up good when the time rolls around. Hey, thanks again for your time, okay?
Thank you for letting me come on.
All right,
No
we'll
problem.
talk to you soon.
All right. Yep. All right. Bye.
See ya. Don't say plug it up good. Ever
Yeah,
again.
don't.
Did I say plug it up good?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I was
how is
talking
EJ
about, you know.
married to such a pleasant person?
so nice,
yeah,
right?
yeah. She's got a raw deal.
I feel like every night for her is taking down all the pumpkins and putting up all the Christmas trees, right? Every night when she sees them, take down the pumpkins, put up the Christmas.
I never even thought about the fact that even if they could get it cleaned up earlier, they wouldn't start decorating for Christmas until it has to be 1 minute.
And I know you
after the
hate
next
that
day.
stuff, but I love that stuff.
You're right, because
I love it when they do
it's true.
that. I love it.
It's it's like don't no we're
It's
still
a rule.
Halloween. Yeah. So,
and it's a standard. It's like a standard. It's like it means more. Well,
'Cause
you
they
could
could-
just do it right now. Give us the tree. Nope.
because they for
Not
sure
doing it.
could start at 11:50.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Like, but they wouldn't.
I like that you want them to. They're like, nope, we're doing.
Yeah,
I don't know why I like that, but it's like a series of standards.
Well,
it's
you
like checks and balances. I like that there's a tradition. There's
Well-
a ritual there.
Also, for sure, that requires more money and more people, right? Because it's less time. So they're just throwing money at it to make it proper because they got it.
Because they
You
can
know,
do
they
it.
can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
It is a really fun. I mean, the parks get a bad rap with locals. You either like them or you don't. If you're local, I believe. If you're from out of state, I think you really enjoy it. You know. But if you've never been to the parks at any of the holidays, I'd say all of them are fun.
Yeah.
You know, like I really like Halloween. I really like Christmas at the parks. It's beautiful. If you want to get some family photos, it's really fun to get a ticket and run out there.
I never thought about the people. I bet there's a group of people that go on Halloween night and then go the next day to see the change.
Yeah, I did that
Oh,
one
you
year.
got okay, yeah. Like so that's I didn't even.
I think that's pretty
It
cool.
didn't even dawn on me that would be a thing, but of course it is because it's impressive to see a complete change in.
It would be fun to go there late
Overnight.
night, roll through, get the fireworks, go to bed, get up early, meet your friends for breakfast, and head back out just to see the change.
All Christmas,
That's
yeah.
cool. That's a cool idea.
All these we need to do a segment about people's hobbies and like what they're into, and they just tell us why.
Weird hobby Wednesday.
Wednesday.
All right, now just
We're giving up on jobs. Now we want to know about your hobbies.
yeah, just
And instead of how much do you make, it's how much do you enjoy it.
yeah. On a scale,
Because Tom doesn't understand
And
joy.
just for fun, I'll go, thank you, Dan.
weird
Yeah,
hobby.
I'll just do it
Wednesday.
a little different.
All right, let's do that.
All right.
All right, bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Did you guys see that crazy ass video in Brazil of the cliff that fell on those boaters? Which
I did.
I gotta tell you, like I showed it to my wife, and she's like, oh, "Why?" She's like, "That ruined my day." Well, because
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm like her. If I watch a video that's
mean,
emotionally draining too early in the day, it will affect me. I got to watch those right before I go to bed.
there's people that died. I'm not sure
yeah,
what.
at least 10 so far.
It's nuts, and but it's something I've never seen anything like that. we're going to see more of this, right? I mean, beyond the story.
Yeah, the Earth is falling apart.
Well, not only that, but I'm just saying with every human having a video camera HD in their pocket, it's like there was some video floating around a couple months ago. Did you see that, like, of an avalanche that hit a bridge, and then like in one car got crushed,
I didn't
and
see that one.
People died, but someone had like a cell phone footage of this avalanche and these rocks coming down the side of a mountain, and then one giant rock literally just annihilating a pretty big sized bridge, and it's just crazy footage. Now, avalanches have happened for a million years, to the end of since time began, but now everybody just has a video camera, so everything is documented.
Yeah, and we have some pretty, like, we're having some, whether you want to believe we're in some sort of a cycle, whether this has always happened, or whether you want to believe that we have global warming and that there have been stranger weather occurrences. Well, I would say that it's a little bit of all of it, right?
Well, I mean, cliffs. I mean,
the cliff they're saying is a lot of that is going to be your heat, cold, erosion, and then they just happen to be there with the camera, and there you go.
Which is insane, the timing, because that cliff could have fallen like throughout the night or whenever, any other time than when boats are there. And then it got me thinking, I was like, do any other boats ever go back there? Like,
yeah, you do.
But
people are stupid, man. Like, I mean, it's like saying.
But aren't you terrified that another piece of cliff, even though that may not ever happen again for 1,000 years?
Happen and people go skiing and rock climbing.
It's like the Astro World tragedy. It's like, that's like asking, okay, let me ask you a question.
Will anybody go to a festival again? And they will, and they have.
If Travis Scott were able to navigate, let's say he just threw caution to the wind and said, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want. That's not my fault.
He is kind of saying that.
So let's say he started a concert right now, right?
Yeah.
Let's say he's going to be out at the Camping World here in town. Do you think anybody would show up?
Yes.
I think they would.
Yeah, because he still has fans defending him.
I think they would. So I think boaters, there were probably people that right now it's a crime scene, I guess. But I think once everything
they're still searching for bodies.
I think once everything is done, let's say 5 years from now, I think that place will be used just as it was used.
Now, the only
unless the government locks it down.
Well, it's Brazil, so I imagine you could probably do what you want.
I don't know what the Brazilian government would do. Maybe they deem it a nuisance and we gotta lock this down. You can't have people in here.
Too dangerous. Yeah, but it's like, you know how the saying of like an airline crash makes airline flights safer, or like commercial flying safer, because every time there's a crash, they
scrutinize the process.
They scrutinize it, and then they change any potential problem with that. And then it's like with this thing, it's totally random.
I don't think you can No,
I mean, so there's no like making this safer, because no one had any idea that this cliff was on the brink. Like I said, avalanches happened. It's like one small crack that has been happening for 10,000 years finally breaks off half the mountain and it falls into the the water. So it's like, I would be like nervous that if I was around any cliffs that could happen, even though I've never seen this happen before, so it's insanely rare. But man, it's so crazy and violent, and the most insane footage I've ever seen. That
I've never seen anything
so
like that.
Scary.
Yeah, it's.
And then it's like, can you even survive if that happened near you? Would the wave push you so violent? Because like that, I mean, how many tons hitting the water creates probably such a violent push of water that there's no escaping that, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
I don't know. Or being just swept under, and just like being swept under so far that.
I mean,
it's terrifying.
Everything about the video is nuts and the craziest I've ever seen.
Yeah, and then Sam's like, well, you can take that off my list of, because tourists would get in these boats, I guess, and, you go around the cliffs, or you go through
These were not tourists, though.
No, I mean, like, there are, like, we know about these people that they go on let's say on a honeymoon, they do, like, the old Hawaii helicopter thing. That's a cliche.
Yeah.
I think these things, people are like, I don't know if we need to do these.
Well, it's like, you've gone up to the mountains before, Sam, right? Mm-hmm. And then, like, every time, like, especially up in, like, North Carolina, Tennessee and stuff, they always have, like, a hike up to an overhang where a rock is basically kind of sticking out
Yes.
from the side of the mountain, and people just take pictures.
Photo
of
op.
It's always like
in
some
the Carolinas, you're
hangout
like blowing
rock.
rock.
Yeah. It's all there.
Yeah, you got
terrifying.
Rock City. They got the little bird net thing. You know, you can always get the iconic mountain that you climb.
Yeah, and then it's always just some outcropping, and people stand on it and take selfies.
You hate
now,
that
right?
too, by the way. Tom hates it when kids stand on cliffs.
Well-
That's why you're so affected by this. You have told me stories. Tell that story back in the day. You were doing
Well, me and
something.
Crystal went to North Carolina, and then we went up to some like hanging rock. I think it is actually called
and there's
that.
usually
And
some
it's a-
sort of Native American thing where the guy jumped off and the wind blew him back up, and then
Oh,
the
somewhere, yeah, like
Indian lovers jumped
urban
to their
legend,
death
yeah.
or something.
But it's just just seeing. For me, I get vertigo. Not myself, but if I see someone stand, like I couldn't see Crystal stand near the edge.
Oh, that's interesting.
It makes him weird out.
I get vertigo for
By
others
association. Huh.
because I get scared of them falling. But if
That's osmosis vertigo.
I could stand on the cliff, but I know, like, well, I'm not gonna fall. I can control it, so I.
See, I'm the opposite.
I'm a superhero.
I'm crawling out there on my hands and knees because I'm terrified.
But
and then
anyway-
I'm getting the hell out of there.
Take a photo, get the hell out of there.
exactly.
After seeing something like this on video, it does put that little grain of crazy thought.
Sure.
Like, what if this whole thing collapsed? Or like,
Those thoughts go through my brain every time I do anything.
does it?
Yes. Terrified at all times.
That's why you
No
live
way to
like
live.
that.
I think I used to be more like that, but I'm less like that after having a kid.
I mean, I still do stuff. I'm just terrified the whole time.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Well, then I admire that. I admire that more because you're terrified and doing it. That's like you
Exactly.
get extra
Fighting
points.
through
Yeah, I give you extra points.
And it makes it more fun, right? Because you're
you get the chemical spike. Yeah.
I have nothing.
It's like, all right, I made it. All right.
That's nature's drugs, man.
Like, I always think everything's gonna be fine, so it never moves the needle. Like,
No,
I'm
she's-
standing on the rock.
she's
I'm like,
doing
well,
it
there's no way this is falling.
Sam is a pure traditionalist. She's doing it pure caveman style, and the fact that, like, cave people, there are concepts and things they didn't understand. So when a
you're
saber-tooth
scared of
tiger
everything.
for the first time got them, they're like, "What?" Like
Yeah.
that. Like you talk about riding the lightning.
Yeah.
Get a tiger to chase you through the jungle, right? And then make it out alive.
And then every time the bushes shake, it's a tiger.
Oh,
Or
God.
you run.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
You're
that's what
running
happens.
everywhere.
I go hiking terrified the entire time. Every time I hear something, I think it's a
How are you?
That's how
able-
our brains
Florida
evolved.
Panther.
So if you're terrified, how are you able to perform on your husband?
terrified.
That's part of it.
That is part of it,
So
yeah.
is he into terrified BJs? Is that his thing?
That's his
Awesome
kink.
punk rock name.
Wow. I gotta tell you, Toothpick Johnny is killing it. He's like,
It's whistling toothpicks.
Oh, whistling
Get it right.
toothpicks.
Yeah. It's all
I
part
like
of it.
that. The terrified
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Give me the terrified.
It's the adrenaline.
So
rush.
your eyes open, looking around the whole time.
100%.
Okay, just
I like
look-
that.
Yeah. You know, we just.
I don't know how you even. I don't even know how you
Like,
accomplish
You
that.
can't look too much the left or right. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway. But it just like I'm fascinated with the fact that everything's on video camera now, and we're seeing these crazy things because every single person has a video camera.
Now
in
the
their pocket.
one video that I saw the raw video. Now the one video I saw, and it's kind of fun. And this is the only funny part about it. There's nothing funny about anybody dying. There's nothing funny about anybody still missing. That's not funny. But there is an element of, to me, that's lighthearted in the original video where the boat that gets away. You can see the guy like, oh my God, like he's filming it. The wave is coming. When he goes to like turn around like they're gonna go, his camera comes down and he's holding. I think it looks like an aluminum can. Like his camera at that point is filming his beer.
Oh yeah,
And that made me laugh. One beat of laughter. I'm like, beer.
Not to make this about myself, but it is bizarre to me that like there was I did a stunt at the Do Action Sports Tour where I jumped a scooter and I did a backflip off the scooter or whatever.
That, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there is zero video evidence of it that exists, right? Which
I might have that on an old cell phone.
because it happened right at the time where there
It's gonna be grainy. You won't be able to make it
that
out.
people just didn't have it, and the one
Fun fact: I brought Floatin' JJ's son to that Mountain Dew tour.
Really?
Yeah.
How old was he?
He
Back
was
then?
probably like 5.
Wow.
I don't know.
And then he watched.
Now he wears shirts that say like, "Give me some condoms." Like, he's got all the like the.
Teen now.
Is that the thing though? That the kids are like, you go to school, it's like, put a Jimmy hat on, yo.
But-
I'm like, is that cool?
He's religious, so
Oh, is he?
yeah, he's promoting safe sex and
Oh, got you. Is he an abstinence guy or no?
Yeah. Virginity Rocks. Not just the band.
Oh,
It's a whole different kind. Like it's funny because
what are these kids doing?
It's promoting safety, and we're looking at it the nefarious way.
Yeah, I'm like, give me some condom. Yeah, strap them down. Let's roll. You know?
It's funny how that message.
Yeah, like those shirts to me are like no different than that play. What was it? Let's roll when they're going to attack the terrorists. Yeah, I'm all about like I see a condom. I'm like, well, I know what that's for.
But it's so
for peeling out.
Like our kids are going to grow up where if anything happens and there's no video of it, it's going to be
no one's going to believe it.
Yes,
yeah,
no one believe it.
Yeah, but the videos are even altered now.
That's true too.
Well, then it gets being on like deep fakes and stuff.
I do a deep fake of you like every night before I go to bed. I use like Face app and I just put you on anybody. I put you on Barack Obama, Betty White. It's funny.
And I remember, and this is a dumb old man talking about the old days when there like you'd hear a story. And it would be where there would be a ton of people saw it, like 2,000 people saw it, no video evidence of it whatsoever. Yeah. And so it was just
now you're talking about Jesus.
No, but I'm saying,
yeah,
I'm talking about the 90s, and there was like,
from Jesus to the 90s. Yeah.
There was, and then we just had to accept it. Like
from Jesus to the 90s, it's Tom and Dan. If we were an easy listening station, that would be our tagline. You want to do a couple voicemails?
Let's do some.
All right. Let me dig these up. Couple ways that you can leave us voicemail messages, and we love it when you do that. First way, call our phone line, 1-844-TOMNDAN. I check that weekly. That's how we talk to people live. You can leave a voicemail message there for either all of our shows. Just park it there, or just get our free app. There's a little button that says mediocre messages. If you hold said button down and talk into your phone, it will shoot me crisp, clear audio directly via email to our studio, and then I can play you on the show.
It must be crazy bizarre to be like an ultra celebrity and then have strangers run up to you on the street and just stick their phone and videotape you in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
And like not even talk to you or
I think
like
I'd slap the phone on them.
Did you guys see that
Alec Baldwin
thing going around where there was this guy that slightly looked like Matt Damon that was at Epcot yesterday or the day before, and he also had a shirt with Matt Damon's face on it, and all these people lined up to take pictures with him because they thought he was actually Matt Damon. Did you see that story?
Well, did he say I'm Matt Damon?
He wasn't denying it.
Okay, well then, it's just a crazy person.
But no, it's pretty funny though, because if you're gonna just assume maybe he's just a big Matt Damon fan, or maybe he was trying to perpetuate that he was, but
yeah, I mean, I'm sure his whole life he's been compared to Matt Damon, then he just adopted that.
He doesn't look that much like Matt Damon for people to be taking pictures with him.
Well, it's also, man, people are dumb.
Yeah, people are dumb.
And, like, pictures are they're just such a throwaway that people just take a picture of anything. I mean, people take a picture of their lunch and share it with their social media.
That.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm joking.
So it's like, hey, that guy looks like Matt Damon. Take a picture with him. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, sharing something. Do you remember a time when it was like...
Sorry, guys.
People were still trying to figure out what to share on social media? Like...
Oh, if you go back and look at some of the early posts on Facebook, it's trash.
You know what I like
Not that
mine?
It's not trash now, but you're like, why would you post that?
You know I like mine? I went back and looked at old Twitters, and or tweets
like
rather,
tweets, yeah.
and I look at my old tweet, and it's like... Because remember at the top of Twitter, when it originally rolled out, it was like, how are you feeling? Or what's going on? You know? So you took it, like for me at least, I took it literally. I was like, it was like, how are you feeling? I was like, having a bad day.
No, I think most people did, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it was like, or like, I'm having a great day. You know, like, and then you...
And the confusion at the beginning of what do I share, like who is this? You know, no one understood.
The real thing, though, is what do I share? You should share nothing.
Right.
Shouldn't be sharing it. We shouldn't be here. We shouldn't be doing this.
Well, it's morphed into you're just...
It's an extension of you now.
Sharing, this is
part of me, my opinion, my ideology, my aesthetic, how I look, how I sound, how my politics, my everything.
You got your reality life imprint and your digital life imprint, right? And then you're just trying to mimic or show people your digital life.
Yeah.
Which is why it gets skewed, because it's normally the best things, and then people start like, why?
And then because the best things have the most amount of emphasis is why we see people that are gravitating and running for the VRs, because when you're inundated with only the best things, then the only thing that will be able to topple that, I guess, competition that you have is to live in the land of beautiful things. Because out here in reality, warts and all,
Hard.
it ain't that pretty.
Yeah, hard, bad stuff happens.
Terrifying.
But then that,
Yeah, it is.
that's, is that sad that we're moving towards a virtual,
Yeah, I think it depends on how you look at it. There's a part of me that says, good, I want the people that like that digital
Evolution.
universe to go there and leave me the F alone. And I'll just stay here on Earth with the grass and the sun and global warming, whatever it is. This is fine with me.
What if your daughter likes it more than reality? That's what I'm
I'll
scared
pop in
of.
to see her.
Okay.
I'll
just
pop
let it
in, I'll
happen.
wear my suit, high five her, shoot some
Digital
lasers.
visit.
Yeah, shoot a couple lasers with her, fly around the globe. I'm levitating. I'm like, she's like, all right, we want to go to the laser clouds. I'm like, all right. I'll go up there, float around a little bit. I'm like, all right, I'm out. And then when I come back down, it's just me, non-alcoholic beer, dartboard, sitting in a shed. Sitting in a dirty shed. It's hot, and I'm just trying to find porn on my phone.
There's red embers outside. Hot in here. Let's do a voicemail.
All right. Let's try this one.
Hey guys, BDM Justin here. I'm listening to you guys talk about the mall situation on ACT.
Well, smackaroni.
And to your point, there is no doubt that the mall business model is failing for the most part. But I will say that it has a certain value to it. For example, the Sanford Mall, Seminole Town Center. Obviously, same situation, falling apart. Not as bad as Fashion Square, but still. I will take my 3.5-year-old son there, and I will basically let him get a cheap cookie. There's a bar in there that has beer. I'll drink 2 to 3 beers. I'll spend $5.50 in the electronic massage chair to sit there. I'll take him to the little crap play area that for anything from a 2.5 to probably 4.5-year-old works fine. And all said and done, when I leave, I've spent maybe $25. He's happy. I'm happy. Mildly relaxed from a cheap massage chair. All the time while my wife's shopping for overpriced sports goods at the Dick's. And then we leave, and it's all good. So, still got value.
No.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'll tear your thing apart right now. First of all, your kid is not eating a cookie for the entire time that you're drinking 3 beers. So what is your kid doing then? Number 2, you're not really saving money if your wife is overspending at Dick's. I don't understand.
Well, I think he's got a playground.
What is your kid doing the whole time you're drinking at the bar?
I think there's a playground inside the
At
mall.
the bar?
Well, I think inside the middle.
I don't think you can walk around, right, with the beer?
Yeah, it's Fashion Square. I think you can do pretty much anything.
I think
Seminole
Town
Center.
Center.
Seminole Town. Well, Fashion Square, I walk around with my knife out and I wave it around.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah. Well, regardless, sir, what you're describing isn't going to keep the business alive.
No,
You're just taking advantage of
I could find
some
value.
cheap beer and a massage
Yeah.
chair, but that ain't gonna that's gonna get bulldozed and turned into housing or whatever the hell.
Just bring a cooler to a park and let your kid play, right?
Yeah,
If you're gonna drink.
it's dying.
Yeah.
That's all we're saying.
You know what May
not gonna survive.
You know what May really likes, and this is my I don't know what the hell I'm doing parenting tip of the day. One of May's favorite things is wide open field with really good grass. So if you can find one of those, there's one right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bring a ball
good
or something.
So I ran her up here yesterday, right? At the
Frisbee.
end, or 2 days ago, at the end of the day, we just ran out here, and I just said, cartwheel your well, she doesn't have balls, but you know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
go crazy.
Yeah.
And she did, and she was like, "Oh, I love this place. We got to come back." I'm like, "Ah, yes, the field. Forgot about you, field. You got to have good grass.
Yeah.
Gotta have good grass.
Yeah.
Decent grass. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be golf course, but just green. Something sort of green brown will work. I'll accept that.
Yeah. A good flat field. People underestimate that. For
They
a
really
kid,
do.
Because a kid will just run around.
Sometimes they
everywhere.
just want to run and scream.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Maisie and Tommy were doing a lot of like hands up, just run and scream. I forgot how that's kind of fun for we just like just doing.
Yeah.
It's fun. I should do more of that. Let's try this one.
Hey guys, I'm listening to the Friday Free Show. Tuttle just made some joke. You guys were talking about my 600-pound life and the guy who lost a ton of weight. And Tuttle, he's not saying a lot in this show, which I appreciate. He's just kind of hanging back. He's not trying to force himself into it. He says, something about what the fat rolls are gonna smell like. And it's like, you guys just immediately are like, oh, too far. It blows my mind because I think it's the funniest thing ever. But it seems like it doesn't land and I can't figure it out. Anyway, it cracks me up because you guys say the worst stuff and that's why we love you. It's hilarious. But Tuttle says things, and then you guys are like, oh, too far. I don't know why.
We do not. Tuttle is the only person that says bad stuff on the show. Yeah. If it weren't for Tuttle, this show would be top 10 in the nation. But because he comes on here and he just spouts his rhetoric, his political agenda, his shock jock, all of that, because he's burned every bridge in this city and every broadcaster hates him, he comes on our show and decides to stink it up.
Yeah.
We have to let him know. We have to have some standards.
And me and Daniel enjoy a good bullying, and having someone do something you just did and then yelling at them for doing
like
it.
you're the bad one, yeah.
I do that with my wife
It's
sometimes.
a good form of bullying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that with my wife sometimes. You ever do a process and then your wife will be like, give me that, and then she'll do the same process? It's like turning on the TV and it's not working. So I'll turn on the TV, she's like, give me that. And then she'll hit the same button and it won't work. I immediately turn to her and I go, you're an idiot.
Right.
Always.
And Tuttle does go, he is more radio shock jock than will ever be.
He don't care. There's no.
Yeah, but he was forged in the fire of shock jock. So he can't
There's nobody better. I've said it.
Yeah.
There's nobody better.
He can't be anything different.
Let's try this one right here.
Hey guys, love the show. New BDM here. Chris the Block Mason from Orlando. Man, I just wanted to talk to you guys. I just wanted to say something. You know, I ended up leaving my job this morning because one of my coworkers had COVID last week. And Tuesday, he worked Monday and Tuesday, and he didn't come into work Wednesday because of his COVID. So my boss said, you know what, I'm going to give him 10 days. He come back with a negative COVID test, then we'll get back to work. Well, here it is Monday. It's only today would be the 6th day, and this guy's at work again. So I tell my boss, I'm like, look, man, I'm going to finish out, this job, and then I'm going home. I'm not working all day with this guy. And he basically tells me, well, you know what, hit the road.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing.
That is what it's like out there.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing. I'm laughing about that.
It's I
shouldn't laugh about it.
Everybody's in a different situation.
Yeah.
People are in situations where they have to get things done to feed their families.
We've gone back to no one actually cares about the health. Let's get back to work.
Yeah.
And when the CDC backs it up by saying, hey, now you only have to be home for 5 days, then the bosses are going to be like, all right, well, come back in 5 days.
Exactly. And then people,
regardless, I know people that regardless if they had a negative test or not, their boss wanted them back in 5 days.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And that's terrible.
Well, you can't do that.
It's going to infect everybody else.
Well, you just can't do that to people, though. Just think of, don't even think about the disease. Just think about what you're saying to the person.
Exactly.
I think it's a lot easier just to think about it from the standpoint of, would you do that to anybody else? You wouldn't, right?
Yeah, would you do that to someone in your family?
You wouldn't. You just, for any reason, I'm just saying. It just seems like now would not be the time that you don't need to be selfish right now. You need to be compassionate. You need to be helpful.
We've lost that compassion in our society.
Some people,
some people still have it.
Well, they're faced with the scenario of I have to feed my family. I have to get this
or
job
close
done.
the whole thing
I'm
down.
gonna get. Yeah, I can't do. I can't do that. We just got to move forward and then do it. Whatever. Screw it because it has to get done.
He just wanted our take. Is basically he goes on to say what would you have done? Well, hey, if you
do
feel
whatever's
like,
best for you.
Correct.
Yes.
If you feel like you need to walk, then walk.
Yeah.
But don't. I would say you ask for advice. I'll give you a piece. But walking to the point of making the situation harder for your family might be. I don't know. I would juggle that maybe a little bit better, because sometimes you do what you got to do.
Well, he could have someone that's compromised in his home that he doesn't want to bring COVID home to.
True.
Well,
we don't know all the details.
So he's got to try and find another way to make some money.
It sounds like he's weighing it out. And like Tom said, you just got to do whatever you think is the best decision for you and your family.
Yeah.
Try to be a good person.
And then, people can't follow the exact protocols, and then some situations it's impossible to.
Correct.
So it's just like every situation is different. It's
a do your best scenario.
Yeah, everybody's trying to deal with it.
But my heart goes out to you, buddy, because I think right now it's difficult to have a job like that, want to work, and then have that saddled on you he probably called right before Christmas. You have that saddled on you before the holidays. I mean, that sucks,
dude.
So my heart goes out to you.
This second wave, so many people got it. I know I've known plenty of people personally that their spouse or whatever got it this time around. They just said, "Screw it, we're not. We can't even start attempt to quarantine at this point. It's just screw. I'm gonna get it." And it's like they're it's like getting more and more like that where people are. They can't take it anymore, and then there's so much COVID out there that it's hard to do what you did a year ago. So everybody got to the point where okay, we know what to do, and then now it's changed a little bit. And that's the thing, that it's hard for people to accept that things do change, and it's it changes all the time.
Well, just
kind
of
so it gets frustrating because they're like, well, this is this, and now it's this.
No, but it's just like the Bob Saget scenario. I think I can make a good comparison here. It's just like Bob Saget and his untimely death. Everybody is screaming at each other because you want a clear-cut answer and you want all the details on COVID, and you want to know exactly what to do. And just like Bob's death, you want all the details. You want give me the details. I want to know. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't. We're doing our best, and like you said, it changes, or or the new information comes out, or maybe we were doing that's. Just try to be good. Try to be friendly and helpful and kind.
Yeah, that's all. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Just be cool, bro.
Just be like Bob Saget. If you can act like he acted his entire 65 years on the planet, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Try this one.
I believe Facebook wants the metaverse to be exactly like the movie Ready Player One. If you haven't seen that, watch it. It's amazing. I believe that's what Facebook wants it to be.
All right.
Have you seen anybody here seen
I did.
I'm gonna walk you through. I will put that in my queue. I finally saw Encanto, as I call it. Me and my daughter call it Incontinence, and we laugh.
My boys love the soundtrack to that. For whatever reason, they've been playing that for the past week, and they love that.
May likes the songs. Lin-Manuel knows how to write some music. That's he has a formula, and he knows how to get to our brains, right?
And it must have landed on that great age demographic, 6, 7, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah, May likes the music too. The movie's good. It's good. But I want to see Ready Player One. I'll tell you, as far as my VR adventures have gone, I do have an Oculus now. Andrea and I were supposed to use it Friday and Saturday night this last weekend to kind of get it. We got our profiles loaded up through Meta or through the Oculus app. So we're in. We got it all loaded up. We don't have any games on it yet. So tonight, I think we're going to give it a shot. I'm casting to my TV so she can see it, and vice versa, and that's how we're trying it out.
Trying the Oculus or the games or Meta?
Games.
Okay.
Games. But then I started seeing different places. I don't know that much about it, right? I'm learning about it. That's why I have it, is to learn. So, I started seeing different places you can go. There was one where it was, on a calendar, and it said, click here, and it's you walk in, and it's, single people, and it's you and a bunch of single people, and you're, I guess... Are you talking to that? I don't know. And what do I look like?
I've seen
I keep doing this, moving my hands like I'm an avatar. I don't know. Do I look like me? Do you see me? Am I a blob? Am I an icon? What am I when I go to this virtual single? I'm not going to go to the singles room.
You choose your avatar, right?
I haven't gotten that
the way
far.
You look. I saw something on TikTok about mapping in the inside of buildings and houses and stuff, and this guy was wearing basically like a backpack that had what looked like a Google camera, like a camera that has.
You say Google.
No, Google.
A Google camera.
It's basically one of those cameras that have
like a Google Earth.
Like the ones where they drive around in the car and everybody tries to pull their boobs out when the Google camera comes by.
But it's just the lenses are on all side or whatever, and then it maps the entire room and then makes a digital copy.
We need that
everything.
For here.
Yeah.
And putting it out to the universe. If you are a VR mapping dude, show@tomandan.com. That's the email for the main email here. Get a hold of me. Me and Sam will set it up.
You know what
We'll pay.
I don't like about VR is the fact that, okay, so in these Oculus deals, you basically draw a border around the.
That's as far as I've gotten. I drew my border.
Yeah.
I connected it, and then I stepped into the center, and then I saw the plus signs that are swirling around me, and then they're like, "Is this good?" I'm like, "Yeah, it works for me."
So they make it so obviously when you pass the border, because you can't, then it turns on the video cameras so you can see the room you're in, so you don't fall over your coffee table or whatever.
Trip through the TV.
You fall through the Christmas tree like a dumb old man.
Yeah.
And then so when you're walking through the video game or whatever, you're having to press the joystick forward on your controllers and the hands or whatever. which it does take away a little bit of the reality.
Dude, I got it.
Instead of walking around.
No, you go to action hands mode. So the first thing they tell you to do, if you set it up in the tutorial, it says just to show, because they want to prime you, right? They want to get you excited because they know that the handles are better. This is just my take. They know the handles are better and you got buttons on there and it's easier to control. But the first thing they tell you to do, and I'm there, this is my next step, you go up and you click a box and it enables like hand gesture commands. And it's literally just this and my hands, and you can grab like a web page and pull it down. You can tap on things in the sky.
Like Minority Report.
Like Minority Report. Okay. And everybody that I know that's done it says it's very, very good. Like very close to being like completely accurate.
But I'm saying is like you
make the okay sign, you know, the white power sign that they took from us a couple of years ago. You make that a lot for like doing things. You're doing a lot of okays.
I'm just saying, like when you're going through the virtual house or whatever the hell, like in the meta, they're trying to map everything out. NFTs, we talked about that. You're not like actually walking through it physically, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's a little downgrade from reality. You know, like if you could actually walk through some sort of area that's mimicked like the house, but if, like I imagine
you need a treadmill, right? So, no, I'm serious.
Or like
they
a
have
big
these
open space.
Well, they have these now where the treadmill is on almost like a 360.
And if you walk, you're actually walking, and then it's moving.
And it goes based on your walking.
That's what I'm
you're
saying.
On your treadmill, and then you're walking into the room, and it knows, and it counts your steps, your stride, the length of your stride, and they have this. I've seen this.
Okay, yeah,
they have it over down. They have it down the street because they do a lot of video game and stuff down there.
Now that's more expensive, and I understand not
every consumer is going to be able to get that.
Wait a minute, could I get a cheap treadmill and just kind of emulate this a little bit in my living room?
But what if you try to make a turn? You're going to walk right off.
I'm gonna have to I'll put it on a Lazy Susan and have Andrea turn
that's
me.
What you're gonna have to do.
Have Maisie turn my treadmill on a Lazy Susan.
So let me ask you this: so you remember Tank America, and we're playing like combat laser tag, right?
I love Tank America.
So do you think a business like that could just take the inside of that? They already have like the laser tag deal set up, map it out, and then put some foam and stuff so people don't fall over, and then turn it to VR where you put VR goggles, and then the map of the inside, like it has the structures and it knows what the structures are, but you can go to different levels and you're seeing like you're in Cloudland or like everything's Candyland. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's mapping it, like, and you could play laser tag but virtually. And then,
with unlimited
and then you're running around an area that's already mapped, but it's actually like when you run up to the wall, it is the wall, but you're seeing something different. That'll be something, right?
Yeah, or they'll get to a point where the cameras, I think, are so good where it'll be a warehouse scenario where they can change the boundaries, and there's enough room for you to respect the boundaries. They're not real walls; they're just fake walls, but you respect them for for gameplay, and then that way the map can change and be different every single time. And imagine that
the real boundaries you could see so that you don't trip over it, because that's the problem.
Well, it's wide open is my point. If it's wide open, if it's a warehouse, right, you can make fake walls in there and literally make any incarnation of walls you want.
But the problem with the fake walls is you run up to them and then say you go to lean on them and it's not a it feels like there needs to be some hybrid.
They'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm. But it's basically we're all here to get out of here, right?
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day. It's
maybe they could do that to the malls. Just make them big VR, where we're all VR zombies walking through the mall shooting each other, and then we'd stop by a Wunderbar and get a roast beef on rye.
Or you're like virtually shopping and some like
virtually shopping. I support. If you told me that I could have close to an in-store experience at Best Buy, where I'm like there, I'm looking, I'm holding the.
You can't hold it though. That's
why not?
Because it's virtual.
But why can't they have a version of it, a 360 model of it? That way I can turn... Because look, why am I turning it around? I'll give you a real-life application. This Focusrite audio interface, right? I have to look at that online when I purchase it because I need to see the back of it. I need to see the inputs. I need to say, is it USB-C? What's it got back there? Firewire? What are we running, right? So if I could pick it up in real time with my hands and flip it over and instantly look at it, see the size of it, the dimensions, whether I think it'll fit into my computer, that would be useful to me. I would use that.
I hope we evolve the virtual shopping. Then it's like, people like picking up stuff and then tangible, like being tangible, and then like packing it, then it turns it back into a normal mall.
Yeah.
And then Simon screaming like, "Oh, we have this! You guys ruined it."
Maybe that's the cycle.
It goes all the way back to regular mall. They're like, take off the helmets. I like seeing the stuff.
Well, I can't buy stuff sight unseen, right? I can't. Like, not in here.
Yeah.
I bought stuff sight unseen. The last thing I bought sight unseen were those Chinese coolers that we bought to sell to the listeners. I will never do it again.
It's
if we'd have been able to hold that virtually and look at it, we'd have said this is a bad idea.
Yeah, it's all you can start formulating theories and looking at the future, and then it can become super depressing too, because then you start looking at like, well, it makes logical sense that the people with, like, let's say the worst go at life or whatever, like poverty or has a bad go at it, like they're going to turn to the virtual world first, right? Because they don't have the best houses to live in, and they don't live near the coolest things to look at, right? So like you live in, some big city and you're poor, you're like, well, screw it, I have a better life virtually. And then
how are they going to afford the VR?
That's what I was going to ask.
Well, it'll be it'll be like, how do they afford everybody's got a cell phone,
right.
You know what I'm saying? It'll become as cheap as a cell phone. I'm talking about, like, I'm theorizing like
now the chat room saying you're just like, it's Ready Player One verbatim.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Ghost is basically saying that you're just stealing the premise of the movie.
I've never even seen the movie.
Let's watch it. Let's all try to watch that.
I watched it.
Yeah, you've seen it. I'll try to watch it this weekend.
But that's logical. I'm not stealing from it. Like, I'm just like theorizing what could be, because it makes sense.
That's what the whole voicemail was about.
Well, I have a caveat there, though. Here's my take. Whenever they do this, they always dress the person before they get into their virtual reality system in some sort of drab and tattered rags. Like the rest of the world is covered in dust and it's dystopian.
Oh,
and we're all eating Soylent Green. Why does that have to be that? Why can't it just be like what we have now, which is not that bad? And I put on my glasses, like, this isn't that bad either. It's like, why can't they both be good? Why does it have to be like the guy goes through all these industrial doors, he pulls back the door, and where does he live? He lives in the back of basically what would be a dumpster with industrial walls, because the government is always policing his thoughts, and then he puts on these things, and then he goes into the good world. I don't like that.
It also doesn't mimic reality, because it's like in the dystopian future, all the poor people are wearing rags, but like
and armor and body armor.
But we're seeing like now in like in the poorest communities, like we see a guy or a kid.
He's wearing Adidas joggers
in sandals,
$75 joggers,
and there's a hut, and he's wearing a Tommy Hilfiger shorts and a polo shirt, because it got donated because of how the textile industry works, and we all just it runs down the pipeline and gets so you wouldn't be wearing just a potato sack.
And where do they find all these great industrial buildings where they can basically squat and live? Right? It's always the big iron door and then they close it, and finally I'm here, and then they lay down, and it's always a chair. They get in some sort of time traveling chair or VR chair. Then they put on what looks like some sort of a halo on the top of their head. It's never the goggles, because whatever. They put the halo on their head, then it zaps their brain, then they lay there, or they plug their brain in, and then they lay in the dusty dystopian chair, and then the other world is like cool. Way cooler. Why is it got to be like that? Why can't it be like what we have now? It's like, this isn't that
a bunch of suburbs, because that's reality.
Yes.
It's just endless rows of townhouses. That's the dystopian future, right? All the malls are townhouses, like that you can't stop building people's dwellings, and so that would be like just an endless community of townhouses. That's the dystopian future, not giant warehouses that blades
like whistlers in there, soldering some sort of laser. It's like,
what do we need the warehouses for? There's no warehouses here. Warehouses are all in China. Yeah, that's where everything gets made.
Like you wake
nothing
up.
Gets
Tell
made
that
here.
to Amazon.
I know. I guess you're right. Giant Amazon warehouses.
Yeah, and Walmart warehouses.
You want to do one
now
more?
They're trying to compete with Amazon.
Let's do one more, and then we'll get out of here. Let's try this one.
Hey guys, so I'm listening to Wednesday's ACT, and Tom's saying how, he can't really do small talk with people he doesn't know, and how the crow's always getting on him about interviewing people. And I gotta say, for me, it's the opposite. I wish somebody would interview me so I didn't have to think of things to talk about. If all I had to say was like what I did for a living, and then they ask me 20 questions, and then when we're done, we just walk away awkwardly and go talk to other people, that would be a way better interaction for me. Instead, I will start to explain what I do, and I can go one of two ways. I can either give them the short version, and it doesn't make any sense at all. They'll walk away thinking that I do something completely different. Or I can try to really explain what I do and what I'm working on, or, what's going on at work or in life or whatever. And then everybody thinks that I'm the awkward one because I gave way too much information. So I feel like it's a lose-lose situation. So just please ask questions.
I admire this man's honest answer. That is a damn honest. It took a lot of courage to call in and tell your answer, sir, and I appreciate your bravery.
See, she doesn't yell at me about situations that she likes when I start, interviewing people where we're at some sort of...
You do it in weird times, dude.
Yes.
I've seen it.
Well, that's the problem. Like, we'll be, like, for instance, I remember one particular time they were riding in a boat to go scuba diving. And there's a scuba diving, tour guide, I guess, or the scuba master that's taking us all out.
I wasn't on this one, was I?
You may have been there.
Was this with Charlotte?
I think it was Charlotte that I started interviewing.
And the driver.
And everybody's just...
The Bahamian man, the attractive dude with the red polo. Yeah, I was here then.
So this is not a Christmas party scenario where you're having drinks, you're making small talk with people. This is just like she already gave her talk and told everybody the instructions.
We had safety check.
We're driving to the point, so everybody's just enjoying the boat ride. And then I start asking her 20 questions about how did she do this?
How'd you get into diving?
The questions about diving.
When did you come to the States? I hear. I can tell you have an accent. You're from England.
That is a form of chirping.
Yes, I know. I know.
That's why we're in. Secretly, he loves me.
Chirp interviewing, and then so that's when she's like, "Why did you start interviewing this person when everybody was just enjoying the boat ride? Like, why did you
picked
start?"
it up from Daniel. He's a chirper. I'm sorry.
And so it's in the inappropriate times when nobody wants to hear an interview. That's the problem.
Also, she didn't want to scream over the boat engine. It's always nice to scream over a boat and be interviewed by we're hauling ass and go out to where the sharks are at.
She just wants to just sit there she
have
don't
some
want to talk to
time away from these dumb tourists. They're going to feed sharks.
Exactly.
This ice is so exciting.
Exactly. Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Let's do some voicemail.
Let's do some voicemails indeed. The chat room is just obsessed with your plums today. They're just
come on.
They're all about Tom Van's plums. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail message, you get two ways to do it. 1-844-TOMNDAN show at tomanddan.com is the email address if you want to drop an email, and our Mediocre app, or there's a little button in the app called Mediocre Messages. Slam that button, talk into your phone, and it will send us a voicemail message like this one right here about gas tanks.
Hey guys, I just listened to the OG show. Remember Fartogram? You're talking about the gas station tanks. The 7-Eleven in Oviedo just replaced their tanks. I think it was 2 of them, about the size of a short bus, maybe a little bit taller because it has some kind of feet on them. But yeah, 2 giant tanks, and there's a big old hole in the ground. They had to close the filling area for, it was like a week while they dug everything up and switched it all out. There we go. So the tanks are real.
Because remember I said I've never seen them put them in the ground.
Oh,
and I
yeah,
thought they just would dig a hole and just fill it full of gas and then just like put a hose in, and this guy calling in to confirm that I was, dumb old man, I was wrong on that one.
So, we already talked about it, but eventually it's all going to, I wonder, what they'll repurpose the gas stations. And again, I have no idea, but I assume
CBD shop.
That everything's
a CBD shop now.
They're all
every gas station will eventually become a CBD shop, and it'll be some lady in there, and she's bored because nobody goes in. Nobody goes in a CBD shop.
There's quite a few Latin restaurants that open up in old gas stations.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
The lechoneras.
Wait, what'd you say?
What is it, lechoneras?
Lechoneras, that sounds delicious.
And then there was a Chevron near my old home that now is a bakery. Still have the gas pumps there.
Oh, that's a
They
bold
don't
move.
remove the gas pumps.
Usually they just have the overhang and then put plants.
Yeah, they do put plants. They leave the overhang.
Isn't that what like Black Bean Deli did? Was that an old gas station?
I believe it was a gas station, but I think it originally started as Vegas Cafe. It was a Cuban cafe called Vegas.
And then it was like it used to be an old gas station before
Probably. And then the other one you're thinking, the other Black Bean Deli in Winter Park used to be Winnie's. It was a Chinese restaurant, and he took that over.
Because the marts at the gas station, people still the 7-Eleven near my house, people are always buying. I'm in there all the time getting sodas and the White Claw.
I love 7-Eleven. I love
and all the snacks.
I
and
love
the
a
caffeine.
convenience store. I love walking the candy aisle and
Yeah.
seeing the new Sour Patches they got. I like looking at the Mountain Dews. I walk down the booze aisle. I see what Tall Boys we got because the Tall Boy selection is different than what you get when you go to any regular liquor store, stuff like that. You get some crazy stuff like Crazy Mike's Hard Lemonades and crazy White Claw extreme flavors you don't see in other places. A big Tall Boy. I love that kind of stuff. I like walking by the taquitos and the pizzas and the ATM machine. I love a 7-Eleven, man.
You ever bought eggs and butter?
Absolutely. I
and
bought
bread?
everything.
Yeah.
No.
There's
There
a
isn't
little,
one thing at 7-Eleven
you
I haven't
feel
bought.
like- you're like-
Condoms. I bought a tall tee. I bought a do-rag. Everything that is in 7-Eleven I have purchased except for one thing. Can anybody guess it? You know what it is.
Toilet paper.
Nope. I'm sending it to you right now, and it's at the
tampons.
front. Nope.
Oh, well.
Rose in a glass
Oh,
ball.
okay.
The rose in a glass ball I've never purchased, but I wouldn't. Maybe I'll get one for Sam.
When you're getting,
Put it on your desk.
When you're getting dairy,
I don't need my tiny desk.
when you're getting dairy products at 7-Eleven, like your milk and your eggs and butter and
And
cheese.
it's crazy expensive.
But
too.
Yeah.
But they always offer up an excuse. When they do it, they're always like, forgot it last night. And then they'll say it. Like this morning, there was a lady in there buying 2 things of ice at like 6:30. And she's like, my refrigerator's broken. That's why I'm doing this. They always
Yeah.
offer up an excuse.
But when you're buying like the $8 eggs and the $12 butter and stuff, are you rich or are you poor?
You're poor. You're poor because you do that.
Or so you can get it delivered to your house.
Yeah. Because when I buy it and I'm like, if we don't have eggs, I'll run up to 7-Eleven, I'll buy the eggs, and then when I'm they're scanning me out, I do think to myself, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
No, I know, but I could just.
You're too hard on yourself.
I could run into Publix or a grocery
Now
store.
my wife will do that. My wife will
pretty
never,
quickly.
Yeah, I
she'll-
guess that's just bad at life, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's more convenient for you to go to the 7-Eleven.
Andrea
Yeah,
will
too
always
lazy.
go to the Publix, never the 7-Eleven. Here's another thing that drives me crazy with my wife. She will never, under any circumstances, have food delivered. If we get any food around
That's
this
nuts to
area,
me.
she will get in her car and drive and get it because she likes the ability to check the bag at the venue to correct the order, and it makes sense. I always thought, this drives you crazy. It's so stupid. And then finally one day through an argument, she was like, well, when I get there, I can check the bag, see what's in there, make sure everybody's thing's there, and then drive it
Has
back.
she ever caught anything that was wrong?
Every time she goes to do it. It's like
That's
every
never
time-
happened to me.
Like every time she goes,
If they don't
it's
have
like
something, they'll let you
wrong.
know, and then they'll ask if you want to substitute it with something else. And then if not, then you just don't get that product.
During the beginning of the pandemic, I'm not talking groceries, I'm talking fast food. Like if you're ordering at Uber Eats, not groceries, she'll have that delivered. But like I'm talking like we do not Uber Eats. There's no such thing as that in my house. Believe me, I would like that. Because there's something very neat to me about like getting on an app and hitting the
But
button.
that's also crazy expensive.
My wife will not do that. If we order, for instance, there's a pizza place right next to Taco China that we like called Pop's Pizza. Shout out. They have a pepperoni pizza. It's really good. They use beef pep and pork pep. It's phenomenal. If we order that, we could have it delivered or Uber Eats or DoorDash or something like that. Andrew, no. She'll get in her car. No matter what, get in her car and go and get it. Every single time.
I need to teach Andrea the joy of being bad at life.
There's joy in that?
There is joy, Samantha.
There's
but
joy in everything, Tom says. It's a book coming out later this year.
It's the same joy that like the Joker feels when he's burning the money and he's just standing.
Just chaos.
Yeah, some men like to watch the world burn.
Yeah, he's burning the money and it's like, why are you doing that, Joker? And he loves it, right? So the same thing when I order one Jersey Mike's sub on a Sunday. And I'm out doing
$38 sub.
Yeah.
I'm out doing yard work, and I'm like, I'm hungry. And then I'm like, I could get in my car, a truck, and drive over to Jersey Mike's and easily order it on the app and then run inside.
That's what she does.
Like, there's an easy process, but instead I go to Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever.
You bring the food to me.
I click on I click Jersey Mike's.
I want that.
I get one medium Italian combo.
Wow.
And then it's like
That's a good sub, by the way.
It's like $8.50 or like maybe I guess Jersey Mike's like $13.
Oh, Brock BDM says he has absolutely paid $60 for 2 chicken sandwiches. $60 for 2 chicken sandwiches.
And then so
oh my God,
it's $13 worth of the order.
She'll
and
never do that. She's too cheap.
And then delivery.
And
I have
delivery.
told you-
And, yeah. And
I
then
have told
you
you
have
my
to at
wife
least
is
tip
cheap.
$5. Yeah. And then, yeah, and then it comes to $28, and then I look at it and it's like and then I order. I'm like, and then you're filled with regret, which gives you a burst of adrenaline. Hold on, I'll tell you.
You got to get the sub, and then it's all you feel better.
Yeah. But instantly you get buyer's remorse, and then you start punishing yourself. You're like, idiot. This is why you're, why do you do this?
Yeah.
Like you could eat, like you're wasting money.
Hey,
It's
don't
such a
tell
waste.
anybody you did this, you idiot.
Yeah, but then there's a secret, like an element, like, oh, don't tell Crystal.
It's naughty. It's a
don't
little
tell
naughty.
anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you forget. It's kind of like when you're bad at life and you waste money doing something stupid, overdraft, all the stuff. I get a little bit of that back.
Yeah.
It's my overdraft fee.
Yes, yeah.
Because like, why did this pack of cigarettes cost me $25 in overdraft fees, but you still got your sweet cigarettes. So when the sub gets delivered,
this isn't my way of thinking,
and
but
then
I'm
you're
almost
eating.
on
Is it the
board.
best sub you ever had?
No, it's
It's a medium
It's cold. It's
a
soggy.
medium Italian.
Yeah. It took forever to get there. Yeah, it's not
It's
even,
smushed,
all
yeah.
your Diet Coke is a water. It's all bad.
Yeah, it's all bad.
Everything about it
And
is
they put
bad.
it right in front of your storm door, so you have to knock it over to get your
They
food.
knock the Coke
Yeah.
over. Yeah.
Everything about it is bad, but that's what makes it good.
All right. I get it. I understand it. I would never. There's no way I can ever. In fact, I'll beg her. I'll be like, "Why don't like Chinese food?"
She's got to experience it.
Like Chinese food. Like traditionally, Chinese food is delivered, right? No, not for her. She'll go and pick it
You
up.
know what? I got to put your wife through a course.
Please do. My God. What does that mean? Are you going to show her your balls? What does this mean?
I have
the
to.
red room of pain? Is this 50 Shades?
No, you know how like you hire.
Do I get to put your wife through a course?
Yes, you can. So it's but you know how like you take in movies they take the nerd and they make her break the law.
Oh, you're gonna give my wife a bad at life makeover? Are you gonna do like in Clueless where they take old what's her name and they do a makeover on her and make her bad at life?
Because you know in Encanto when
everything comes back to Encanto. And the Muscle Sister, who's arguably the best character of the thing.
All you make is roses all the time, and everybody expects you to make flowers and beautiful roses, and then you make one cactus and you're mesmerized by it.
Yeah.
And you're like, what else could I do? Encanto.
I just got 2 things for the awards. In
Yeah,
this one
guy, it's
segment.
almost like this guy's got such an ego now, he just wants to rule the awards, right? I almost feel like he's shaping it towards him ruling the awards. That was actually really good. You really tried to sing that too, and you hit the notes right. I'm proud of you, man.
Embarrassed.
The chat room's melting. I'm proud of you. You're like, what else can I do? What's your favorite Encanto song? Chat room is saying they're outlawing it in a lot of houses because dads are tired of it.
I like We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
like
one.
the intro song, "Welcome to the Family Madrigal."
But it's you know what?
fun.
I
don't like that one because I am so stupid.
It's
I'm like,
confusing.
you're called Encanto.
Yeah, your name is Magical Encanto. I watched it and I got really full transparency. I got mega high. And then we loaded it up, and that first song is too much to take when you're high. I'm like, I'm watching this, like, this is too much. And she's like, and then we got cussing, and they're going through all the different things. Like, so slow down, Lin-Manuel. Like,
That's why I liked it.
Like, hold on, slow down. You got to ease me into knowing who all these people are. And again with the mean old grandmas.
Yes,
Latin grandmas.
I knew you were going to say mean old grandma.
Dude, I gotta
Mean
stick
old
up.
abuela.
I gotta stick up for abuelas. They are making sweet Latin women look
Well,
mean
they're tough.
as hell.
Strict,
Well,
yeah.
someone's got to be the tough person in the family.
But they're
and-
all mean and they're all tearing their families apart.
Yeah. But all the men are weak.
Yeah.
The Latin
They're the
grandma,
matriarch.
she's got to be the tough one and get these people to work.
And the one that changes into everybody, the long-haired brother who can change, he can.
Yeah, the more.
You don't get much of him, right? Like he
Yeah.
had like the best power.
Shapeshifter.
He did have the best power.
Yeah.
like, all right. I mean, I guess the ultimate strength is good, but there's like the flowers useless.
And he didn't do anything that anybody that had that power would actually do. Like the first thing I would do is change myself into the muscle sister and then take all my clothes off and run around on the screen. That's what you do. If you have that power, I guess they can't show that in the film. Not very realistic, in my opinion.
Let's do one voicemail.
All right.
Just one.
Let's do this one.
Hey, Tom and Dan. BDM Eric here. I just wanted to chime in on the Lego conversation. Dan, you and Andrea are both right and both wrong. Yes, you should be able to take your time and build that thing as slow or as fast as you want. That's the fun of it. I'm a big Lego guy, and I like to take my time. It's not fun when it becomes a chore. You want to build it at your own pace, and she should have let you do that. However, you can't take over the kitchen or the dining room table for a month and a half. That's just rude. You need to put it in a box or something.
Okay, I got to pause him there. That was her idea. I didn't say dining room table. I didn't take over the dining room table. My wife did, and she put it there. And she said, this is where we're doing it for the duration of what we're doing. So I see what you're saying, though, and I am always willing to admit if I'm wrong. He continues.
Then build a bag, put it in a box, set it on a shelf, get it out of the way. Of course you knew that was going to piss her off. So that's bad on you. But, she should have let you build it at your own pace. That was your toy.
Who are the perfect human beings that keep their dining room table clean for dining?
I don't even have a dining room table.
Oh, yeah. Without kids, you don't even need it.
Do you guys eat at the dining room table?
My wife keeps we eat at the breakfast.
Because I know so many people that have dining room tables and none of them eat at it.
Well, it's all filled with garbage all the time. Like kids' art projects and a bunch of Legos, and the only time we do eat on it is when guests come over, and then we have to clean all the garbage off, and then it's clean for one day and then filled with garbage again.
We eat at the breakfast nook most of the time. Like we have like a glass table with 3 chairs, and that's where we do the majority of our eating. Like you said, but it is clean. I will say that to my credit, to Andrea's credit, it's glass and there's nothing on it, because it just looks better than having. It is weird to me, and where we do differ, it is odd to me to have a giant...
Like all your mail stacked on top
but
of
with
it.
anything stacked on it. To me, it just looks like, okay, you have this beautiful room, right, that's yours, and then in the center of it, you have a trash.
Yeah. Trash heap.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Half of the trash is all the stuff you need for to entertain guests. Like there's a pile of placemats, a big wooden salad bowl with 2 wooden fork and spoon in the, we never used ever. And then there's like candles and napkins and stuff, and that's pushed all the way to the corner to make room for the other trash you pile on there. It's all ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's try this one.
Hey gang, it's Zach from Ohio. Who is the best looking male BDM? I nominate Salvatore.
The best looking male
I mean, I would say my husband,
BDM.
but I'm biased.
I'd put him up there.
Game Show Drew is pretty good
He's
looking.
an attractive boy, yeah.
But there's some BDMs that
Ron, I find Ron, he's got a kind of a thick boy thing working, right? Like a muscle man.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Corey Bryant from
Corey
All Pro Dent won Best Chest Award
He
on
did?
the Tom and Dan Crew.
He did. You know what's funny is I thought of Corey immediately, and the fact that you and I were both thinking of him, but that's weird. Yeah. I'd throw him in there.
He's
Who else do we have?
He's good looking in
athlete-wise?
a rip kind of way.
Also, another
not-
sponsor, At Home Floor Store,
Oh,
Justin.
Justin. Well,
Yeah, that
I won't say.
He's a handsome gentleman.
He is a handsome. I'm gonna look at the founders. I'm looking
But
at
again,
the founders.
more of a rugged
Right, not
beard.
really a BDM.
Yeah.
Just a listener, also a sponsor. That's a good question.
We've
I mean,
had a
we could
couple
do a
BDMs.
contest if they want to do. If they want to submit.
I remember there's some people on the cruise that there's like
Eric the cop.
Oh, Eric the cop's a good
He
looking
moved
man.
away though.
He can make his boobs. He can do that. Ding, ding, ding. Can you do that yet?
I saw
You can
his
lift 'em.
plums on a
I could do
at the BDM beach
Do
party.
it for Sam. Unzip your hoodie and make
You can?
No, I can't. I can't do it where they bounce because I don't have that big of a pecs. But
Why not?
But what can you do?
Well, I can.
He can drop his balls out of his chubbies. He did that yesterday on WGN.
Maybe I can't do that. I can't. I don't. I could flex my pecs back and forth.
My wife can do it while milk comes out. That's not true.
I remember like the model good looks where you're kind of like almost effeminate. You know what I'm saying? There was a guy on a cruise that had like
Super Metro.
Yeah, kind of like you just have a model,
like a lean boy.
Yeah, where
Pretty
you're,
boy.
Yeah, pretty boy style. Like I remember,
Like
there's a
Japanese
couple-
animation boys. Like you look at them and you're like, oh my god, you're beautiful.
Yeah, because there's like handsome and there's like a beautiful man. Like a handsome man, I imagine, is like more of a beard, stereotypical like Justin from At Home Floor Store, and then you have the model type where you're just like. What you see in a JCPenney catalog.
Yeah.
Like the models that model Polo or whatever, like that kind of metro type of person. Good bone structure in their cheeks, weigh 145 pounds. That kind of-
145.
That's lean.
Yeah. Like those
But they're super skinny.
because they're shorter too, right?
Yeah, and then they can pull off like fancy clothes. Like all those guys that are little. Like I'm little, but I'm not slight. A lot of guys that are little are slight, like where they don't even have any shoulders whatsoever. They don't even have any.
Yeah, like Tom Cruise has always kind of been muscular, but he's such a small guy.
He's very small.
He's lean.
He's petite.
I saw him in person.
What does he
very
weigh?
small.
155 pounds? You know what I'm saying?
Probably, but he's like 5'7".
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, just tiny, but
Yeah.
he's got the model type
He
face,
does,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, bye-bye.
Hey, it is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha's here, and we are hanging out. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Real quick, let's get the plugs out of the way and the things that we need to tell you about that we don't do a good job of telling you about. We are on YouTube. We are live, actually. We do a live stream every Monday through Friday. You can find it at twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, and then the replay in the afternoon starting around 4:30. You'll get all of our Twitch videos. I edit them, color correct them, boost the audio, take out the pieces you don't need to see, and I throw it on the YouTube. And you can check that out. Just search for Tom and Dan Live.
Yep, you'll get a notification from Twitch when we start recording, and you could listen to audio only if you don't like to watch. Like,
Or
say
if you're driving.
Yeah.
I'd prefer you not to watch video. Although I do see, when you guys are driving around Orlando in the mornings, or maybe you don't get the luxury of doing that, I drive only because I have to for my brain. I don't drive because I need to. I could get on my bike or walk to work, right?
Yeah.
But I do take a drive because it is important for me to have, I have a routine, and I like to get up in the morning, get a coffee, and I like to, one of the ways that I engage my brain is a little bit of coffee and drive around kind of just looking at things, surveying a little bit, not far. Just enough to kind of get out into the world, dumb old man easing into a bath. And then by about the time I get back to the house, I'm good, or get here, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
I've done like a little...
That's healthy mentally.
It's a routine. It's like my way of sort of waking up. But as I drive around town, I will say most people are watching video on their phones on a holder in their car. Watching Game of Thrones or watching all the shows. Everything. They got their Netflix loaded up, driving to work, watching shows.
I need to make a routine in my life because this chaos,
not working for you.
It's probably not good for your brain.
Well, you have a routine here. You just have less routines once you leave here, right? Or wrong?
Well, there are basic routines, but it's like I should because I do the same thing every morning, but every morning it's a little
Slightly
bit
different.
Slightly
So you're
different.
doing the Groundhog
it's a loose
Day.
team.
That's the Groundhog Day.
Well, no, but I think for Groundhog Day there was like long periods of time where he'd do the same thing.
Well, he always knew he was doing the same thing, but it was always just a slight variation of the same thing.
You're right, and then just get better at that thing. You learn to ice carve. I don't have the time for that. Anyway, when I wake up, I know I have to make the kids lunch and make their breakfast every morning, but I always do it in different Like sometimes I'll do Max's entire lunch, pack it in his backpack, then go to Tommy's. Sometimes I'll lay them both out. Sometimes I'll cook their breakfast
that's
first.
maddening to me.
Sometimes I'll make my coffee.
Why wouldn't you have a work? Why would you have different work? Imagine,
because I'm insane.
Imagine if you were a plumber and all you did is fix toilets, and every time you fix the toilet, you just tried a new way to do it.
That's how this goes. Yeah,
that is the dumbest plumber. You would never hire that guy, right? You'd be like, "How you doing it this time?" And then eventually you run out of ways to do it. Why not just get a workflow?
I know,
and stick with it.
It's the mental illness. I don't know. It's the bad at life.
What if I wrote
Start
it out?
setting alarms like on your phone and be like, you should really probably do the lunch thing the night before.
I know. Sometimes I want a couple times in over the past 6 years or 7 years or whatever.
Nice.
That way you can focus on breakfast in the morning.
Like I'll put
and just microwave pancakes.
No, he doesn't do that though. It depends on what mood they're in. Right? Well, you do that, but sometimes they like a 3-egg omelet, Uncle Herschel's favorite, but it's a Denver. Put a Denver in there.
We're always out. No, they only like eggs and waffles and pancakes. Oh, baby.
Well, who doesn't like that?
Anyway,
that's a farm breakfast. Most people's breakfast is like a protein bar, a pastry, a Pop-Tart, a bowl of cereal. Like you giving them a hot breakfast, I admire that. And I know you think I'm clowning. I am not.
And then
I admire the fact that every day you know who does that? Juan does that for his boy. He gets up and he makes little egg cubes, like perfectly made scrambled egg cubes for his boy. I admire that. I am less of a dad than either of you, but my daughter does not want that, nor does she require that.
Well, I admire.
She doesn't need me.
Maisie.
No, this isn't about Maisie. You don't understand.
But
you're missing it. This is not about Maisie. This is about me. I want to make her eggs. I want to spend time with her. I want to do things and have her be my baby, my princess. She does not want that.
Yeah.
She does not require that.
Well, I want my boys to be into something and then passionate about some t-ball or whatever, anything, any sort of that.
We'll never get what we want.
You got to start making them do some stuff. They got to try new things.
We will never get what we want.
An ounce of passion, but
they won't know if they don't try.
Yeah.
You don't make them try.
I don't have a passion for anything.
But you're saying that
it's
wrong.
almost like I know the outcome. I'm like, you're me. You're going to hate whatever.
You're saying that wrong. You said you won't know unless you try. The proper way of saying that is you won't know unless you try.
And then...
exactly. So don't try. Then you'll never know. No big deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you won't know what they're into. They won't be into anything if you don't make them try something.
No,
Why do you have to be into something?
You don't.
Yeah,
but that's what Tom
You know what I would like?
Because again, it's about you guys and not your children.
Exactly.
So
I would like my daughter.
Here's
Here's something. I would like for my daughter to be into me. I would like for her to enjoy time with Daddy.
Yeah.
And let me cook you some egg squares. Let me cook you egg squares. Let me baby you.
I want my son to be like, I want to work hard all day. they don't want to do that. They want to do the opposite of that.
Speaking of kids a little bit, well, and this is the one thing I had to get off my chest before we rolled into whatever we're talking about. Izzy in the chat room brought up something that I want to know if either of you guys did. And my wife and I just discussed this. He was talking about how when you were a kid, ice cold milk at the dinner table was a thing.
I think that got brought up because I brought up the ice cube in milk before.
I did ice cube in milk too.
Never drank it with dinner.
I did.
It
Spaghetti
was
and milk.
specifically for like cookies or like a sweet treat.
If we had pasta with red sauce, always ice cold glass of milk. Don't know why. Andrea had it too. That's a Florida trash thing, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't that supposed to help with like the acidity of the red sauce?
I got some agita from this Italy
I think
food.
I don't think that's true. I think that's a...
Oh, dude, Norm hit it. He said spaghetti and milk. Norm says spaghetti and milk. Is everybody on board with spaghetti and milk? That's a thing, right?
Sam's right. It has to probably be... some correlation with the base and the acid, like the, tomato
Everybody
sauce.
in the chat room, what would our average age in the chat room be if I were just throwing a dart? 32?
No, older than that.
35.
I think 36.
Okay. Okay, 36. I do love that you did that.
You should have said 35 and a half.
So 36, and everybody had milk for dinner. Is milk for dinner? I'll tell you right now, Maisie will do it occasionally, but sometimes she'll make water or juice. It's not a staple with little Danny Denny. When I sauntered up to the dinner table, it was 1,000% always milk. White milk, ice cold, 2%, sometimes 1%. Never full fat.
Hell no, too expensive.
Never full fat.
Kool-Aid or sweet tea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wasn't allowed to have the sweet tea. Mama said it made me crazy when to rot my teeth out. Now, my dad only drank sweet tea and then bourbon and Coke. That's it. Sweet tea, bourbon, and Coke. I never saw that man drink a glass of water in his life.
See, because of my crazy wife and her crazy diets, we don't have any cow's milk in the house ever, right? Every once in a while, I'll buy like a tiny vitamin D full fat to cook some mac and cheese or something.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Dude, don't be the mom who uses 1% in your mac and cheese. Or
Oh, my wife does. No, not 1%. Almond milk.
No, I won't eat it. I'll punch that. I will.
Sugar-free almond milk.
I'll throw it through the window.
It's disgusto.
Almond milk is not milk.
Oh,
it's not milk.
She's like, I prefer it. I'm like,
no, nobody prefers it. That's a lie. Nobody prefers almond beverage to milk.
It's all mental for her. She prefers it because it disgusts her. That
it's not even
cow's
milk. I hate that they call it milk. You know who's got it right? Trader Joe's, when they call it almond beverage. There it is. That's what it is. And when you call it almond beverage, you see it for the disgusting thing that it is. A disgusting, milky beverage. It's not milk.
She was complaining about the cowboys at Yellowstone roping the cows.
What are they supposed to do? Go over and pin an award on their chest, or give it a pet it, or brush its hair?
And I'm like, Daniel's right. This show's not for you. And the writing stinks. Screw you, Yellowstone.
Everybody loves Yellowstone, and guess what? I've decided. I dug my heels.
You're
in last
Cowboy
night.
Walking Dead. Your writing got horrible as it went along.
You're messing with the wrong.
You're
screwing with the wrong people, Curl.
I'm already current now.
He's up.
Oh, you're up to date. All right.
Everybody I know is
Season
on the
finale.
Yellowstone, and they're all telling me, get on the Yellowstone, get on the Yellowstone. And Andrea said last night, she goes, hey, you want to start Yellowstone? And I say, everybody's watching. We can never go to it. We have to avoid it with all. We have to literally avoid it.
It's the same thing as Walking
No
Dead.
Yellowstone.
Like, it started, it was like, oh, okay. And then you're like, oh, that's a little weird. Like a little, the writing. And then it's just like every show, you do it long enough, they have to start taking like ridiculous.
Big leaps.
Yeah. And then the writing just goes straight down the toilet. But I think that's inevitable. How can you... The only, like, the perfect series show to me, or at least the best written one, was Breaking Bad, because they had, it seemed like they wrote
They were telling a story. They weren't
but they
just
had the
trying to-
finale.
Yeah, they were telling
From the beginning, right?
Telling a complete story. Yeah, I believe so. Those are my favorite shows.
There are more shows that are doing that
My
now.
favorite shows are when
Because-
you just tell me a tale, and then when we get to the end, let's end it. Let's just end the tale.
Because, like, you spent years writing season 1 to try to break out, and then you wrote season 1, people liked it, and then they're like, all right, we order 2 more seasons, and then you're rushing to write season 2 and 3, and by the time you get to 4, you're starting having to go real far on episodes. Then you have filler episodes. I hate those, where it's just like, you just wrote this to fill time, like the news.
Or like
interview a podcaster that interviewed a guy.
Or like an episode, sorry, this is going to be a hot take. I'll get an email about this. Or an episode where Beard runs drunkenly through an entire city. Or, the owner of the team in Ted Lasso starts singing Christmas carols like an R&B singer in the end, because she's a classically trained singer. Garbage.
You know,
garbage.
I'm going against my point, and because I imagine it's hard as hell to write a show and to please everybody.
I can do it. I can do anything. I am convinced now more than ever I can do anything. I can do anything. I'm powerful.
So
a powerful boy.
I think we expect too much and we are too critical, because it's fine. It's just some of it is like, oh, okay.
You should
on.
see the stories.
There's
they
so many
create in my
options,
brain.
though. So it's like, well, why stick with something that's just like, meh, it's all right, when you can find something better?
But sometimes they go too far fetched. See, to me,
That's what I'm saying. Then abandon it.
I know. Well, yeah. To me, but they're probably writing for the biggest common denominator, right? So it's like you have to kind of blindside it. If
Well,
you
at
know
this
what I mean.
point, I
Like,
feel
like
okay.
the movie Blindside is kind of like corny, and then it's like
Here's how I pick what to watch. I look at Yellowstone. I look at all the people that are watching it. I look and see if I think most of the people are idiots. If I think they're idiots, which I do, I will avoid the show, because I'm like, just by avoiding it, I'm smarter than they are, because I'm not an idiot. I'm not like aligning myself with the Yellowstone idiots. I can just stay out of it.
No. It's the show's fine, and
No, but fine isn't what I'm looking for. I'm
it's
looking
good,
for
it's good.
fantastic.
Well, good luck with that. What show is all subjective too, though.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
It is. That's why it's so fun to say these things.
Yeah, I know, and then, but I'll also rail against the shows that try to be too smart for their own good, and then it's like too complicated, and I'm like, I'm too
Succession.
tired
Where are
for
we
this.
at with Succession?
Never watched it.
I started it, but again, that seems
Chat
like
room's bringing it up. I heard it's good. I heard, what's his name? Kieran Culkin is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I heard that he's really showing his acting chops and like crushing it, showing you how talented that family is.
The problem is if you get a show with too good of writing that's too realistic and not as much happens.
Sometimes they're bummers too.
Oh, I'll disagree.
Well,
I'm not a heavy
in the,
show
in
guy.
the fact that Yellowstone,
I wish I was.
Yellowstone can have 20 different murders going on the same. It's ridiculous.
But you hate that.
I do, but also you go the opposite and no murders. Then you're like, oh, I want
it's
some
kind of
murders.
like the national championship game last night, right? Like Uga was
pull
falling
my
asleep
hair out.
on the dog. The Uga dog was falling asleep on the sidelines. They whip this thing. Come on, let's get some points on the board, man. You got to get some touchdowns in there. I will say that.
You know what's weird to see in college football, because I haven't watched in a while, and
Please.
I did watch some of the national championship.
How young the cheerleaders look?
Well, no, is that how hard the defense can hit the quarterback
It's different. It's
in
a different-
college.
yeah, it's
well, they
way
have different
different.
rules, and then it's funny because they didn't change the rules that long ago. But when you see
They hurt people.
when you see a linebacker come in and sack the quarterback hard and hit him hard, you're like, oh my god.
Well,
you can't do that.
No, but the thing
Leave him alone.
Okay, let
No,
me.
it was just like he's like, oh my, you're gonna get a
Let me-
15-yard, and
are
they're
you-
like, no flag.
Are you getting it out of your system because you know that you're going to get drafted and can't do it again, or shouldn't you already be transitioning into the newer rules?
Well, no, because you
I'm
want to
joking.
hit the
I just
QB
think
as
it's
hard
funny.
as possible
It's
and
just
hurt
funny.
him.
It's like you do that, and then you get drafted, and you're like, all right, now you gotta pull that back, boy.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
be
yeah.
doing that.
Oh,
You got to step only.
Yeah, and then we analyze all players. They're like, he's running full speed while getting blocked by a 350-pound lineman, and then he hits the quarterback too hard, he gets a penalty, and we're screaming like, no, you idiot, you know the pull-up. And you're just like, oh, I mean, it's kind of hard to do in a violent-ass game,
Indeed. What were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about shows. God, I had another point of a show I wanted to... Oh, heavy shows. Heavy shows are hard for me. Like... ones where main characters are dealing with even from Jump, like Breaking Bad was hard for me. Like you go into the show knowing this
Or like
guy's
Ozark, which is about to come back.
right.
Yeah.
Like people like this guy's terminal or what. Like whenever you're like those to me, I have never. It has always been hard for me to watch those type of shows. The ones that people really latch onto and love.
Yeah, your stress and anxiety run hotter than everybody else's. So it's,
They do.
But you got to watch one episode of that and then one episode of something silly.
I get burned down on those shows.
Gotta even it out.
Andrea will watch anything. Like she watched Maid and watched and I heard that's just so sad and depressing. She'll rip through anything, you know.
The ultimate
Her favorite movie is Hotel Rwanda. I'm kidding. I'm just saying, like she'll rip through anything depressing, and it seems
Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale. She'll
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
all in, but
that's hard to watch.
It has no effect on her.
Yeah.
And I hate that because like I can change my entire chemical makeup by watching one thing that's too heavy, and then I'm like, man, I gotta go to bed. I'll be like, I'm out.
No, so you got to watch something lighthearted before I go to bed, or I'm
can't.
going to have nightmares.
I can't. I just have to like
Ridiculousness.
shut my eyes and just like
I'm
I
not
turn it off.
watching ridiculous.
It's
I
a perfect-
almost got a picture of a guy at the Bucks game that looked just like Rob Dyrdek that was sitting in front of me.
Everybody that was redneck looks. If you're skinny and
true.
redneck, you are Rob Dyrdek.
Yeah. And
he had
have-
on a fake gold watch too.
Oh, what do you got? A Nixon, gold Nixon on
Yeah.
it?
If you're a skinny redneck with a weak chin, right?
Yeah.
That's Rob
big nose.
Dyrdek.
Yeah. Mean.
So this is totally switching topips.
Yeah,
but,
please.
They fired a bunch of NFL coaches.
I did just bring up a Bucks game, so it's not completely off
Okay.
topic.
Yeah.
Look at that transition.
Not bad.
But
That's a good producer too. Swooping in to like make you look good like that.
So, of all the firings, one surprised me, and it seems like surprised the internet and everybody else,
Everybody,
which
yeah.
is Brian Flores from the Dolphins. And because all the other coaches that got fired, Nagy.
Congrats on
and,
their win, by the way.
Zimmer, I know.
I know that pisses off a lot of Patriots fans. I hate that. And but doesn't it always happen?
Yeah.
Isn't that the thing? It's kind of like the Colts never being able to beat Jacksonville, right? It's like a thing. I didn't know that was a thing until my wife told me. She's like, hey, you know the Colts have never been able to pull this off, right?
Well-
and I was like, oh, we were just talking about that. Tom assured me The Colts, it's going to be easy picking on the old, the smoldering earth that Urban Meyer left, right?
We're close. I mean, one game closer to me doing, to Joey in Vegas.
You can say 69. You can say 69. That's legal.
And so they got to get through the Chiefs, which
that's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs, it's not like they haven't dropped the ball, pun intended, this year.
Crazier things have happened.
Yep.
But I'm going to be betting against that. Although I think the spread's up to like 13 now. Chiefs minus 13 in a playoff game, which is pretty high.
That is high.
Anyway, so back to Brian Flores. So I was shocked by it. I was like, Brian Flores, like everything I've heard about Brian Flores is like that the players like him. He's respected even within all the NFL nerd community because everybody's nerds. And
I haven't heard
all
anything
the
bad.
Statistics guys and the gambling guys is all nerds. But they've all had good things to say about him. They're like, oh, he's like they talked about how his leadership in the locker room is good, how the players respect him, how he's a good coach.
His work ethic, they talk about that he's
Belichick disciple,
Yeah, he's one of those like locked in football geeks.
And then I read an article today talking about how
the chat room's already guessing the politics. They're already starting to talk about
it. Wasn't about his performance as a coach, that it was about him not getting along with the GM and the owner. Mm-hmm. And apparently, like, Brian Flores just wanted to do football stuff, and like he's kind of hard-nosed with that, kind of like Belichick. That's where he learned.
I can remember working for Orlando City when we had a coach that didn't want to be bothered by any of the day-to-day garbage that the president and GM did.
Yeah.
Adrian Heath is very much like that. Give me the team, let me do what I do, and leave me the blank alone.
I think even like Adrian didn't like the idea of bringing in like superstars from the EPL.
Let me build my team.
Yeah, like he wanted to build.
I want to win championships. I don't care. Let me just do what I do.
And they were forcing the superstars because
then you're not the coach at that point, right? Because you're not in control of the team.
And the marketing side of it and the business side of it, they want the retiring EPL superstars. And then the football side of it, a lot of times the GM or the owner want a particular quarterback and push it on Brian Flores.
I hate that.
And then the rumors being Brian Flores didn't necessarily want Tua, and they wanted Tua, and then I guess they agreed to draft Tua, and then remember the year that he was taking Tua out to put Fitzpatrick in to win the games, and
I'm sure that was not frowned or was frowned upon.
Yes, because the overall business is like, okay, the team doesn't trust this new superstar, supposed to be like the new franchise
You're
quarterback.
supposed to put him out there. We've invested.
Yeah. And so which it seems like Robert Kraft and Belichick have come to an agreement that Belichick will just run everything and he'll keep his nose out of everything, which makes sense.
Seems like it, yeah.
But I guess you kind of got to earn that.
Or on the opposite end, you have like a Jerry Jones who might as well be the coach.
Yeah.
Of the
he
Cowboys.
controls everything. Yeah.
You see him I see him more on the field than couldn't even tell you the coach. Of
Mike
the Cowboys.
McCarthy, he's not doing. I mean, as far as like decision making, it's everybody knows. So anyway, I found it interesting because it's the first time I'm like, man, they fired a good coach, seemingly that everybody says is a good coach. Even the players, if you look at some of the Twitter and a bunch of stories are about the
it's all positive. Yeah,
the players like missing Brian Flores and stuff, and the fact that he's interviewing immediately for a head coach position. All this tells you, although Adam Gase did that too, and that was a horrible.
That was a bad decision.
But that's the Jets. But anyway, it's the first time I've seen like they fired a good football coach because of he couldn't get along with the GM and the owner.
You see that? You know what's funny is you see that a lot in radio.
Yeah,
you saw it down the road in Tampa, like even like our buddy SPK.
Not based on performance.
Yeah, I listened to his podcast. His numbers were number one in his time slot, just crushing.
Yeah.
But he was the one that was let go. And he says it wasn't because of my performance, and he's right. You look at the ratings, and he's killing it.
Yeah, and who knows if it was because
I don't know
of
what it was.
personal.
I'm just saying it obviously wasn't based on his ratings. That I can say. Because I know he was the number one show. That I know.
It could have been money downsizing, too, which in this case it wasn't.
No.
It's interesting that every job comes with a small amount of politics, or at least wanting, or you have to be liked to a certain extent, right? Like not being liked could be a detriment.
Liked which is not
Right,
by,
by
the wrong
people.
person.
Wrong
by
people.
the head people.
Well, but
By your
maybe-
bosses.
by everybody on top.
No,
But
wait,
they
are
have-
we being too negative? Hold on a second. He is well liked, and he's well liked by more people than he is disliked by the two people that matter right now. But
Yeah.
maybe, just maybe, much like us, it's just like he's gonna land. I mean, wouldn't you not be surprised if he lands somewhere and then it's successful and then he brings home a ring?
Adrian Heath, remember? Like,
Dude, he
when-
went to
like-
Minnesota and just started killing it.
Yeah.
Started killing it. And it
Um,
made me so angry because he's such a good coach and such a nice man.
Well, I think we all forget that, and me and Daniel were talking about this morning. The world is run by humans, and humans are flawed.
Yeah, this is good.
And so it's like it makes these owner. I forgot the owner is Ross.
Stephen Ross.
Yeah,
I
Stephen
thought you were
Ross.
talking about Ross.
No,
I was like, he owns it. My God,
Stephen Ross, the
That's why
owner,
he left here.
and
yeah.
then
Good
the
for
GM. So like this could be a bad decision. It doesn't. It's his team. He's the owner. Like,
yeah,
sure-
do they have eyes on who they're going to hire for their next coach? Or was this just like something happened in a meeting, they got upset, and they're
sometimes
like,
they just
"Screw
look
this
for the
guy."
excuse, right? It's the end of the season. We didn't like him anyway. Get him the hell out of here before we have to lock him in longer.
There's rumors about Jim Harbaugh, although he already made some comments saying that he hopes that Jim stays in Michigan. Well, that could all be BS though too. They could already have it like this deal worked
Probably
out.
already signed.
Who knows? But you do have to make your boss like you, and if your boss dislikes you, even if it's like beyond performance and anything else, just dislikes your personality.
Isn't that so petty, though?
It is, but the humans are petty and
I know.
flawed.
Yeah,
God.
that's what we
Dude.
were arguing this morning. Is that like you can say, isn't that petty? Isn't that all these things? You're right, Sam. But humans are humans, right? We are what we are.
We had
Get over your ego.
back in radio.
I know, right? I know.
In radio, there was a higher up that didn't like me or didn't like my humor or my personality
Yeah.
on the show, and then that was never going to change. And then that factored into a decision. I was
Yeah.
like, well, the likelihood of me like changing this person's opinion of me is probably slim, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't like something, you're not gonna convince your pop-up to listen to Wu-Tang.
Right. No, you're
it's
right.
already so ingrained. Although you would enjoy some of the words.
Yeah. I like that one. I don't use it like that.
But it's like, how do you change your boss's mind if they dislike you? And should you just leave at
It's
that point?
also in a weird way. I think it's a power thing sometimes with the boss. I can remember having
100%.
a conversation with a boss who told me to my face that he didn't like my humor, but he saw value in it because other people liked it.
Right.
Well, that's
And I'm like, well, isn't that kind of like a twisted way of you like kind of getting under my skin and being rude to me? Like, you didn't need to even
It's a backhanded
say that.
compliment.
Yeah, it is, right? Like, I got told, like, I don't think you're funny.
I don't get it, but
and I
hey,
don't
it
like
works.
it, but they
Yeah.
like it, so I guess it's, I guess we'll let it roll. And I was that one, I don't know if I've ever really told that story, but that one really hurt. Like, that one was kind of like, oh, well, I'm trying to help you out.
Again, there's a lot of subjectivity into all this, especially if you're a manager. And so, I mean, businesses aren't run by only analytics alone. They're run by, performance mixed with, do you like the person, emotion, what is, and being likable in some businesses is probably more of an advantage than even being good at your job, right?
It's definitely an arrow in the quiver for sure. And I would take it over a lot of other strengths that people might have. I'll take likability or just being a good human. I'll take that. Let's start there.
Being
It'd
a
be
good
nice.
human is different.
Yeah,
than,
you're right. It is. It is different.
Than, necessarily making your boss like you. Because a lot of the times, like, a lot of that is like brown nosing and like that kind of thing, which happens all the time. And I'm sure a lot of people work jobs where someone has gotten ahead of them just because
They're friends. Yeah.
Or they, they
kiss ass a little more.
Kiss ass,
Yeah.
yeah. And as a human,
That's part of the business, yeah.
you like your ass kissed. Right?
Okay.
Who doesn't like that,
Yeah, I've never really had it. These are verbal versions.
Who's a hard enough robot to totally dismiss anything like that and just be all analytical driven. That's hard to do.
It is.
So anyway, now the Dolphins are going to stink again. Good job, Dolphins. I had one chance, and it was
Falcons are going to stink because old Art Smith, Arthur Blank's got he's got COVID right now, and then Art Smith came out and he said, for 2022, Matt Ryan is definitely our quarterback. That's all I had to read, and then I just gently shut my computer and I was like, well, we're done. We'll absolutely do nothing.
That is true.
Cordell Patterson, I'm a big fan. I'm glad we have him on the team, but he's wasting his life. I wish he'd just go to a team where he can win something before he gets too old, because he is a talented player. He's the only reason I think we had, a little bit of fun this season, a little tiny bits here and there. Other than that, we're horrible.
You got some weapons with Pitts and Cordell Patterson, although it does.
I know, Matt. He's right. It goes to saying Matt Ryan is performing as good or better than most quarterbacks. It's just, look, you're right. I just don't like him, and I don't want him there anymore. I wish he'd just go away. I blame it all on him because it's just easier. It's easier for me as a Falcon fan.
It's less complicated.
I don't like Matt Ryan. Julio's gone. Everybody else that I had hitched my wagon to for that season, we pieced out, we got Kyle Pitts. I mean, whatever. What's he doing? A little bit. He'd be better served. Everybody go to different teams and leave us alone with a bunch of nobodies. It'd be better for everybody.
All I know is that it's all super extremely complicated, and we try to make it easy for news stories and sports stories and stuff, and for us to all understand, but it's way more complicated than just one simple fix or the QB or whatever it is. Although it does seem like the NFL is now turned into, if you have a really good quarterback, you can be a good team. And other than that, you're not going to win with a sub, mid-range, sub top 15 quarterback. You just can't do it.
We need an old inoculized Aaron Rodgers. That's what we need. Inoculation.
He's going to win, it looks like MVP.
You think so? You don't think there's enough negativity surrounding him? Because you saw all those petty-ass sports reporters talking about wielding their vote like it's some sort of weapon and talking about how they hate him, and they're politicizing it and making it all weird.
This is why I like gambling.
Shouldn't it just be based on his performance?
Because
right?
You can cut through all the BS and all the media BS and just look straight at Vegas and gambling odds and then find the truth, because they will tell you the truth, or at least what the hive mentality thinks the truth is. And he's currently favored as MVP. So that tells me that, he is truly favored.
That last game, his performance, when you look at it, you're just like, oh my God, are you a robot? A robot with a bad haircut?
Although if you think about it, he's
a great QB.
He said, he's like, I'm the best quarterback, right? He proved it, or at least this year with if he's going to win MVP.
Did he say that? Did he?
No, but I'm just saying. But he said that based on his actions.
But no, I agree.
And then he's like,
I agree.
This team, I don't want to play for them because they don't value me. And look at everybody else and what all the other teams are doing for their best quarterbacks, and you're not doing that to me, Green Bay, because they're not run like a normal team. Because they're publicly owned or whatever.
He did his thing. Then he comes back and he starts performing.
And then everybody's and then he backed it up. He backed it up by winning the MVP or being damn close.
He did the equivalent of saying, "Hey, it's this size," and everybody's like, "No way, it's not that big." And he's like, "It is that size," and we're like, "No, you're." And then he unzipped it and he laid it on the table. Yeah. And then we were like, "Oh my."
If he didn't back it up, he'd be screwed. But he knew he could, I guess, and he did.
His team is talented too. The connection there, it seemed that he seems in constant communication with his wide receivers. They all know where he is.
Yeah,
it's crazy. They're crazy good.
It's it's a team sport, but again, it seems like it all boils down to, if you have a good quarterback, you can have a chance to win. And without that,
and he's been villainized a little bit too, right?
Although I say that, but it's like,
that's a good story.
The Eagles,
Green Bay, and the Super Bowl will be fun, right? Because so many people are like, "Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be fun."
Yeah, no, and that looks like,
because he's a little infamous now. I'm not saying I feel that way, but I just think it's funny that he's kind of like a little bit of like.
It would be kind of funny.
It'd be funny because everybody would be like, "Oh, there he is! Look at him go."
Yeah, and although the COVID stuff, people are mad at him about. Although it's like it's his business what he does, and like he's a multi-millionaire quarterback.
And I don't disagree with that, but when it affects your team,
true,
that's part of the rules.
Correct.
Everybody else had to do it.
That's the problem. And then
you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting your team.
Correct.
Yes, and that's the argument against. It's like, well, are you the most valuable player to your team if you do something like this?
But I do like the idea of almost like getting a universal fast pass of him getting not in trouble at all because he can back it up. There's a part of me that's like,
they're too good for trouble.
Yeah, too good for trouble. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
seriously,
yeah.
it's like he got ushered in. They're like, no big deal. And he just wings the pass, touchdown, and everything's fixed. And I'm like, oh man, that's good.
If you were Sam Darnold, they would have
tar and feather you out of town. Goodbye, sir.
Yeah. You'd never come back.
No, you're done.
Yeah. But they're like, too good.
Old Sam Darnold. You want to do a couple voicemails?
Yeah.
I could squeeze a couple in here. Tell people how they can leave us a voicemail message, sir.
You could leave it through the app, through Mediocre Messages. That's the easiest way. Once you get the app, just search the App Store for Tom and Dan or Mediocre app.
Yeah.
And then it says leave a message. You click on it, and then instantly, once the message is done recording, it turns it into an email that you just have to press send, and then Daniel will get it. Or you could call our number and leave an old school voice message on our answering machine.
Indeed. Yeah, I have to rewind it and then record it onto my phone, and then I play it back like this one right here, which is strange. Oh, wait, let me start this one over because this gets my Strange Voicemail of the Week award.
Hey, Tom, Dan, and Sam. So, just a hypothetical here. What if, in theory, the rise of, not saying this is true, but the rise of marijuana legalization across the U.S., if it were directly tied to the rise of the spread of COVID. So if you could go backwards and make marijuana illegal, less legal, more restricted, you would reduce the amount of the COVID pandemic.
Oh my God.
Which one would you
What
take?
kind of would you rather garbage is
How
this?
crazy is that, right? Like, why would this? So he wants me to choose between COVID and weed?
You idiot. I choose weed every
I
time.
choose weed every time. Every time.
Who are you talking to? What do you think our answer is going to be?
No, is he saying
like weed?
Is he saying
Like if we had more restrictions and
we would have saved more people? Would we
Right.
pull it back? Yeah, of course. I'm all about saving human beings.
I'm Thanos.
Oh, so you do the
Give it
snap.
away.
Bye-bye.
Just kidding.
The law didn't stop me from enjoying weed before.
Yeah,
Right.
it really did.
It's just
'Cause-
slightly
If
easier.
you told me that I could
That's
go
like-
back to
yeah.
no medical card and everybody's back, and wait, were you telling me I can snap my fingers 2018 and I'm buying, or let's say 2015, I'm buying illegal weed and I'm having somebody that I might know that goes to the West End a lot put weed in my mailbox, and then I put some money in there? Is that what you're saying?
But I like how convenient the pills are because I only eat it. I don't smoke it.
I could put the
so-
weed in a pill. Big pill, though. It's huge. It's about the size of a...
You gotta cook it down and put the butter, the whole thing, and
Oh,
the
I'm
edibles.
not making the
and-
butter.
yeah,
Just
so
eat it
much
all.
extra,
Just eat it
yeah.
like grass, like a
Just
dog that's got a stomachache.
Go to True Leave and get a bottle.
No, but
30
we're
count.
saying about saving people.
I know. Well, I hate hypotheticals, which
because they're not real.
Well, yes, they're like dreams to me. You're asking me, and like
You ask hypotheticals every
So
day.
are you
I
saying
like it
there's
when
a
it tells
chance-
me something about a person.
So are you saying there's a
I think
chance
he's
that
trying to have
Yeah.
us tell him whether we like weed more than saving people's lives.
Yeah.
We picked. I mean, if it. You're asking for the real answer. Everybody picks lives.
Yes.
That's
What
insane.
you want? You want joke answer
Yeah,
or
joke.
real?
We check weed. What do you know? And the whole thing. What the premise is that weed's now illegal still everywhere.
No, wait,
and
hold on
then
a second. Do I have to
COVID
let-
doesn't exist. How much COVID are we taking out?
Are people
Right,
gonna?
that's a good question.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
this: Are
All
people
of
gonna
it?
know my answer?
And
So-
are people going to know that it was up to your decision?
Right,
Right?
so-
Do I
Can
get credit for this?
Yeah. Can I be a hero that saved millions of
Well,
people's
wait a
lives?
minute. I don't want to be the hero.
'Cause then I'll
just-
get free
no,
weed
hold on
forever.
a second. If people know, then I have to choose humans. But if people don't know,
Right.
I'm going to choose weed.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is it a
secretly
secret?
choose
Yeah.
Yes, because like if you're
Yeah.
outing me, I would imagine there's some sort of Hippocratic oath here, or HIPAA, or
Yeah.
law, or something,
Mm-hmm.
where you are not allowed to let people know that I turned down free weed to save everybody from the COVID.
Yeah. If no
And
one
if they're-
found out,
and they're like, "Sir, no one will know this." Man, my glaucoma's pretty bad. It's gonna be my back. You know,
yeah.
the weed.
Yeah, it's already happened. You know, it's we're gonna go back.
How do I get nauseous when we go back in time? Is it like a portal? Do I get nauseous like the Witcher does? He hates
Yeah,
the
yeah.
portal.
You always throw up after the portal.
Well, there's a wait. Not if I have my weed. I toot it, and I don't get nauseous from the portal. Yeah, I think if people knew, if people knew, everyone would choose that because you wouldn't want the stigma of being the guy. Like, there's a guy that smokes all the weed. He killed all those people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You'd never be able to leave. You couldn't go
No.
anywhere.
It's
the weed murderer. You'd be running through the streets. That definitely is one of the weirder ones. Let's try this one. Let's try this guy right. Hold on. Going in the Wayback Machine here. Let's try this one.
Tom, please, don't ever use pop-pop so freely.
Okay.
All right.
What does that mean?
I think he thinks you use the
word pop-pop?
The word pop-pop a little too much.
Why? I mean, because that's what I called my grandfather, and then that's what now I call old people, or if I'm acting
He
old.
just doesn't like it. It's the same people that called in and said they don't like it when we say bye-bye. Like those people. He'll be all right. Let's try this one.
Hey, gang, it's Zach from Ohio. High thought. Do homeless people order pizza?
All right.
Okay.
We got Seinfeld over here.
I don't think you can, right? Well, I mean, if you go pick it up, yeah. I think homeless people order a pizza and get it, and then they,
Yeah.
Where are they hiding the rest of it, though? In their backpack?
You eat it in a sitting, you're
The whole pizza?
Well, yeah.
No, you don't want to eat that heavy. I don't think homeless people eat heavy because you eat heavy, you got to take a deuce. If you got to take a big deuce.
You also got to spare it, make it last.
Yeah, you got to stretch it out.
I've never seen a homeless person eat.
Wow.
I have.
You're
there's
savage.
There's one homeless person.
No, I'm just saying, I've never seen him eat something on the...
I have. There's one
the
homeless
street.
man that we notice, and this is an interesting thing to talk about. So my daughter always asked about him, and she'll say, "Oh, I wonder if our guy is there." Like, we have this guy we always drive by, and I won't say where he's at, but he's a particular part of town, and he's been there. Sam, he's been there for 10 years, homeless. He's been there since it's in the area where I got married over by Lake Lucerne here in town, and that guy's been there forever. Like I saw him driving to my wedding to get married. He was in the same spot, and he's still there right now.
Is it the guy that's always reading books?
Yep.
Yeah.
Bookman.
Yeah.
I won't get
familiar.
it. Whatever. But Bookman's, he's a nice enough guy, but Maisie loves him.
He's
and
sweet, yeah.
He'll wave to you and you say hi to him. But Maisie asks, why is he always there? She's like, he's been there a very long time. Is he trying to get a house? She asked me. And this is what I said to her. I said, I think that some people don't want a house. I think that some people maybe like what they have, and that's kind of their thing that they're doing, and he's decided that he likes it there. And she's like, well, isn't that strange? And I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I guess it is strange.
Well,
but maybe there's a mental
I
illness.
also don't know that he's choosing to be homeless, but could be.
But
I
for
guess.
instance, if you've been there for 10 years, you would imagine that you would have tried to do something differently, right?
Maybe he has.
Yeah, there's so...
It's hard to get... Once you're homeless and
No, I
you're
know.
that far
Yeah,
down
so
the
many
hole, it's
different
really hard to
variables,
get
but-
out of.
but
But
you're
I'm just,
right,
he's
yes.
a prominent, though. I mean, he's a regular.
Yeah. Some
that
people
everybody
prefer...
Yeah, some people just choose.
Being, not being tied down by anything and just wandering and doing, being totally free. There's a mental illness sometimes. Sometimes it is just a bunch of bad luck. The person's
Yeah,
going
sometimes
through.
it's really sad, like the
It's
identity people, where you don't even have an identification card. You don't even have any way to prove to just Joe Average that you are who you are.
Yeah, there are a million different scenarios, but
it's a hard thing to tell a kid, though, is my point. It was very
Yeah,
difficult
yeah.
for me to tell her, I don't really know why he's been there for a very long time. And she's like, well, does anybody help
We
him?
need a Disney movie that explains homelessness in a way that kids can understand, right?
But no, it's too complicated for everybody to understand, even us,
Yes,
because every
'cause
situation is different.
And it takes some sad boxes
and it's counterintuitive to logic to even, because that's how I feel like most kids don't understand, because kids are like, well, why don't you help this person? And then that's what they think.
That's her point.
Why isn't their family, their friends? Why aren't you helping this
Correct.
person? They're on the side. And you're like, well, you don't know their background of
There it is.
how they got here, and did they burn every bridge of everybody they known? Is it a horrible addiction? Is it mental
It
illness?
doesn't have to be that, or
Yeah,
it could be.
It could be a million different things, but the fact that you have no one else to help you at this point in your life may indicate that there's been a lot of bridge burned, and people that have maybe attempted to help you and they can't help you anymore.
I just didn't know what to say to her.
Honestly, is giving money to a homeless person enabling them? Because I gave $2 to a guy.
Didn't we do that? Didn't we?
This morning, I gave a guy.
No, you and I were somewhere and we gave money to a homeless. Where were we?
And when I do it, and my wife sometimes are like, she's like, is he gonna? Is this guy just using this for drugs? I mean, because if you use it,
you
because
can't buy drugs for $2.
My wife wants to we're going through McDonald's, and she's like, I'm gonna buy this guy, and I saw him. I'm gonna buy him a meal, and I'm like, you don't want that. Just because I've seen people do that before, and no one wants food.
Ask him. Go up to him and say, "What do you want? Do you want drugs or food?"
That's a good point.
Just communicate a a little bit, right?
Yeah.
They'll think it's a trick.
Yeah.
Because they'll say food, but they really
If
want
you
the
mean drugs, wink while you're saying food. Yeah, food.
Yeah.
Because they think you're a cop or something.
So I give the
No,
person.
they think you won't give them the money if they're honest for drugs.
No. I'm going to say, look, I'll give you whatever you want, drugs included. Just tell me what you want. I'll do anything for you.
Then why even ask? Just give them the money.
I don't want. I'm going to try to do something nice for him. I'll get him the drugs.
Everybody should enjoy the joy of giving a homeless person actual drugs. I've said this before.
I think just cut to the chase and do the drugs yourself. See what it feels like.
Well, I'm just saying, give a homeless person a joint or whatever.
I don't want a joint. They want meth. No. I want meth. I want to go fast, not slow.
I remember when I used to work downtown, I used to smoke. When homeless people used to ask me for money,
Ew.
I used to give them cigarettes, and it was
that is currency.
It was a good substitute.
King of the bum.
They were happy every time. And it was cheaper than $1, right? And then
it's an icebreaker too. They get through the thank you, young blood, thank you, young blood. I like those when they give you some sort of cool nickname.
Because if you think about it, giving home give that guy $2, right? Now I don't know his situation. Hopefully it helped him, and I want to believe.
Where's my $2?
In my mind, that that was the beginning of him changing his life, and he just needed $2 more.
All I needed was $2.
$2 is not changing anything.
All I need
I know.
is $2 to buy this Tesla.
But I do it to make myself feel like I'm a good person, right? Like you're like, all right, there's a guy, I have $2, and this guy needs it more than me, right? That's all I think about it.
Yeah.
But then when I drive away, I'm like, oh, I'm pretty good.
Tom Van's got the business. They call me Mr. $2.
But that's what everybody's like. You're like, I'm a good person.
I'm
I
a
gave this
$2
guy-
daddy.
I didn't ignore him. I hope that, but if you're looking at reality, like if that guy buys drugs and then ODs later, I contributed to killing him.
Not your $2. I would say you could argue it wasn't my $2.
Right, could have been somebody else's.
Because if you watch, what was that show where they sit you down and yell at you about your drug problems? They intervention.
Oh, an intervention.
I was about to yell interrogation.
I didn't have my power. It didn't work that time.
Any profession.
I was going to scream 1883 or whatever that Yellowstone spinoff everybody loves.
Like an addiction medicine specialist would tell you because this happens classic, the mom enables the heroin addict son. And then they'll tell you if you give him more money, you're going to be contributing to his death. The best thing you could do for his life is give him nothing. It's hard to do, right?
Yeah.
Because
I couldn't do that for May.
Yeah.
I'd give her all the drugs.
All right, bye-bye.